You damn right. Hope everybody's having a good Thursday. Oh, it's not just any Thursday. Have you checked the calendar? I know you have. Oh, yeah, it's 420. It is 420 on a Thursday. Safely smoke them if you got them. We will talk some 420. If you don't know the history, I'll throw that in the crap bag. It is one of my favorite little history lessons to learn. If you don't know why today gets hooked up with the world of pot, we will ask you for some pot stories. We will talk some basketball, a lot of football to get into. Have you seen ESPN.com today? Because Bijan is front and center. We will definitely get into that. Plus, we've got our album swap discussion coming up at 2:05. Jeff Howe, horns247.com, coming up at 1:05 to flesh out another big Longhorn basketball story. Let's get it started on a Thursday. I'm Chad Hastings, and he is Isaiah Collier. What's up, Zay?
Chad, what's poppin'? Happy 420, everybody. Happy Thursday. Shout out to Ricky Williams, Laramie Tunsil, Steven Jackson, Matt Barnes, anybody else who likes the ganj. Shout out to y'all. It's y'all's day. Right up.
That could be another side topic today. Your favorite pot-related athletes of all time. Or entertainers of all time.
Oh, that's too easy for Texas fans.
That's true. Texas fans do have some great examples of that. But on this 420, I did think it would be appropriate if you're up for it. Again, we're going to keep all the names out of it today. But how about your first and or best pot experience
all right.
of your life? This is one where I got to live vicariously through all of you. I support the legality of pot. I want it to be legal in every state and every country. But I've never, hope Kevin Dunn is listening, done the pot in my life. Never.
Wow.
And nowadays, I think you have to say done the pot because you can do it in so many ways.
Smoke it. Different ways.
You can smoke it, you can eat it, you can drink it. But I have never actually smoked pot or I've never had a pot experience other than a contact high.
So you never accidentally eaten a cookie or anything?
Never had an accidental brownie, cookie, gummy bear moment. I've never had any of those. But I do remember first time I ever smelled it, lights went out at a concert in the mid to late 80s, Bon Jovi, and the lights went out and I smelled something I'd never smelled before.
Yeah.
And back then, places aren't smoke-free. So as soon as the lights went out, it was, okay, you light up, and then the security didn't know what you were lighting up.
Right.
But that's the first night I learned what that smell was, and then that's also the first night I learned as I'm walking out, are you hungry? Because I feel hungry. And a little extra hungry. So let us know your first and or best pot experience. Like if you have a I smoked with blank story, please let us know. Around these parts, if you've been lucky enough to, you know what, even if you were smoking within like a mile of Willie Nelson, I'll even give you that. Like, were you near Willie Nelson? Did you smoke the same day you met Willie Nelson? Give me that one.
Yeah.
I don't care. You met Matthew McConaughey and he smelled like pot. Let's do that.
McConaughey's such a legend. Dazed and Confused, smoking a doobie at the 50-yard line of the Tony Burger Center.
Is that where it was?
Oh, that's exactly where it was.
Oh, I never knew that was Burger Center.
With Pink and all those guys.
Oh, that's awesome. Okay, I didn't know that. Give us your pot stories today on 420 if you like. Somebody just texts 420 ? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, there you go. And somebody says, do you recall that first time having to talk to your parents when you were high as a teen? Now that's got to be a weird moment.
Oh yeah.
First time.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So you can let us know what those stories are. We'll get into that. Like I said, we'll get into some NFL draft talk. The Bijan stuff is really starting to hit a national level today with this ESPN.com story. Very cool for Bijan, and we'll talk about that. But I think we need to start with some basketball today. And I know Jeff Howe of horns247.com, he'll be on with us at 1:05. He was on with Bucky and Aaron earlier today. He's been breaking multiple stories with basketball lately when guys are on visits. Zay, we've been talking about this guy for a while now. Some just refer to him as the guy from Oral Roberts. Some refer to him as that guy that's visiting Kansas State, looking at Kansas State and Texas. His name is Max Abmas. Do I have that right?
Yeah, you got it.
Okay. Whoever's spelling that last name for that family, how dare you? How dare you? Let's stop confusing everybody. But Max Abmas apparently visited UT yesterday. Jeff was talking with B&E about it. If you didn't catch it last night while Texas was whipping Abilene Christian 20-0 in a baseball game, there was basketball connections because Abmas was spotted at the game, went to check out a little Texas baseball. And, Zay, I've not seen the first pitch, but Rodney Terry threw out the first pitch. Did he do a good job? Did he not embarrass himself?
No, I don't think he embarrassed himself. You know Coach Terry, he's a smooth cat. He's gonna be locked in when he throws that pitch.
Because that's what I always worry about for all the other sports. You can't go throw out first pitches and embarrass your sport.
Right.
So we don't need that. Whatever you do, whatever you are, basketball or tennis or race car driver or whatever, you got to be able to go out there and figure it out. So
yeah,
I'm glad he did.
You an athlete. You got to represent.
Yes, if you are some type of athlete, I don't care. I don't care if you throw darts. I don't care if you're a cornhole, champion. I don't care. Even chess. Even if they brought you out there and you're like a badass chess player, I think you still need to find a decent first pitch.
Damn, chess?
Yes. That's what I'm saying. Because you're obviously mentally good enough to beat somebody in chess,
but
mentally figure it out.
I'm sure there's some chess people that aren't coordinated enough to throw it, at least to where the catcher could catch it.
I'll tell you what.
Like 50 Cent, he wasn't playing no chess.
That was terrible too. That was terrible. Like he's got an attitude around him that tells me he's tough and he looks. This is probably not fair. But also, if you're a bodybuilder, you look athletic to me, so don't have a horrible first pitch. And 50 Cent had that body where you're thinking, come on, man, we can't have an embarrassing throw.
Nah, his queen's ass, I knew that was going to be toe up.
That was awful. So glad to hear Coach Terry did well. So Max Abmas, Zay, in this discussion where Texas obviously, it looks like Arterio Morris not going to be coming back. He ends up in the transfer portal. Now, and obviously Marcus Carr, done with eligibility and moving on. So, Jabari Rice, done with eligibility, moving on. So how big for you as a Texas fan, how big is this Abmas thing if they can get it?
I think it's huge. He's one of the top guards in the nation. Coming out, Oral Roberts has averaged over 22 points the last 3 years. And for his size, that's so impressive. He has such deep range, kind of has a little Trae Young to his game. And, yeah, he's an absolute problem. It'll be a huge get for the Longhorns, especially, like you said, with what they've lost. So his sophomore year when Oral Roberts had their best season and went to the Sweet 16, and he played alongside Kevin O'Banner, the Texas Tech transfer, he was dropping 25 a game. At 6 foot. And I don't even think he's 6 foot. I think he's probably around 5'10", 5'11". So, again, just with his range, being able to stretch the floor, you can't stay in front of him. He's super quick, and he has just really good IQ. My only question about him is you're going from playing mid-major basketball in the Summit League now to, if he came to Texas, the toughest conference in the nation, the Big 12. So it'll be a little bit of an adjustment for him. But at the end of the day, you could see that he could play well against top-tier competition. He did that again when Earl Roberts went to the Sweet 16. And you got to love somebody like that can stretch the floor and make plays for other guys. You need guards, and he's one of the top transfers in the portal. I think it was terrific to have him on campus. I don't know if he's still on campus, but you saw him at the baseball game where the Horns beat 20,
Abilene Christian
20-0. Yeah, he saw a baseball game, all right. So,
Woo.
yeah,
he saw half of one.
For real.
He definitely saw half.
For real. So, yeah, I like it. I like it a lot.
Yeah, it's very cool. And clearly he has respect for the Big 12 if he's taking a look at Kansas State and Texas and the brand of basketball that's being played in the Big 12. And
he's a Dallas kid from Rockwall.
Yeah, and like that's a good point. We talked about that the other day. The fact that he's from that part of the state kind of explains why he ended up at Oral Roberts, but also puts him a lot closer to Austin in terms of, hey, do you have family that was going to see you play at ORU? They can get down to Austin a lot easier than they can get up to Manhattan, Kansas.
Yeah, and I know people might say, well, he played in a lower conference. How is he going to do in the Big 12? How did Jabari Rice do when he got to the Big 12 coming from New Mexico State?
That's true.
Pretty damn good. Best sixth man in the nation. And Jabari Rice in the PIT tournament where all these high school seniors, it's kind of like the Senior Bowl for basketball. All these guys get to go showcase their talents for a lot of international scouts and NBA scouts. Who got MVP of that PIT tournament? Jabari Rice.
Yeah, it's a good point. Yep.
So, yeah, he was incredible in that tournament. They said his pump fake was getting everybody. They said he just had a good, confidence about him. He was a leader on the court. It's tough to go play with a lot of random guys who are trying to have the same goal, and that's make as much money as possible after your college career. Everybody's trying to go for theirs. So sometimes you don't see the best basketball being played because everybody's trying to get a bucket. They're trying to showcase why you should pick me over this guy that I'm playing with. And Sir'Jabari Rice to go in and play the right way and get MVP. Timmy Allen, he was also first team all PIT tournament. So, yeah, both of those guys, they might not be NBA guys, but they're going to make a lot of money for the next 10 years in Europe, China, whatever, and good for them.
So we'll keep our eyes peeled for Max Abmas and his decision. You can check out hornfm.com for the story we posted up there on Abmas being on campus yesterday. Again, the Specs text line, 337-3776, if you're a basketball fan and you have thoughts on that. Also, we are already getting stories in about that first or best experience with pot. Here we go, Zay. When the Stones came to town and played Auditorium Shores, I took my 60-year-old mom, and she asked me to smoke. Now that's a mom. I was on parole, but I was more than happy to oblige the madre, and then spent $50 at Whataburger on the way home. Good times. Well done. See, that's what we're talking about.
All right, he's gonna have to elaborate more because the parole officer must have been cool. Like he must not got hit with that cup and say, "Yeah, bring me back that sample."
Must have realized he probably knew the schedule. He or she knew the schedule.
Yeah, probably right? Detox, cleanse, and stuff. Smart guy. Okay.
This one says, my first experience with pot, I was in college. Shout out to FAMU, Florida A&M. My roommates were Jamaican. Need I say more? Well done. First pot experience, freshman year at Del Valley High School. Good grief.
Just throwing Del Valley under the bus.
Behind the portables before the new campus was built.
On.
Class of 03, baby. Well done.
Nothing like ripping the bowl right before English.
That's what we're talking about. This one says, I bought some gummies in Denver, but was too scared to bring them home on the plane, so I ate them on the way to the airport. Best plane ride ever. That's well done.
Probably like Odell Beckham.
Well done on this 420. Yes, and later on, 1245 in the crap bag. If you've never heard about the 420 thing, I'll give you the quick history version. It is kind of a weird little story. All right, so, Zay, let's get to the latest villain in the NBA because he's damn entertaining. You've been talking about him. We've been talking about Dillon Brooks already and this Memphis team. They love the drama. They love the soap opera, and they can't stop running their mouths. Last night, they stepped up and beat the Lakers 103-93. The Lakers started flat and lifeless. They tried to make runs, but I'll give Memphis credit. Without Ja, who's the list? Ja,
Brandon Clark,
no Clark, no
Steven Adams.
No Steven Adams. And somebody gets hurt during the game. He did come back, right?
Jared Jackson Jr.
Jackson got hurt and then came back in the game. But they were just better. And then you need to tell me who the hell Xavier Tillman is. 22 and 13 last night.
Xavier Tillman, Tom Izzo guy, just knows how to play the right way, Michigan State.
Now, he's not, but he looks 45.
Yeah.
He's got the receding hairline
he
already.
Like it too. When they were talking to him in pressers, he talked like an uncle.
He looks like somebody, it's like somebody's uncle found his way onto the floor, but he goes 22 and 13. But the show of last night was Dillon Brooks. Went to Oregon, if you remember, and he's one of their stars. And he's a defensive specialist, correct?
Yes, he is.
One of the many things he does. He's a defensive guy. He'll lock you down.
Yep, he always gets the assignment of the best player.
So he was on LeBron last night. And every time something happened, he was yelling at LeBron. He was jawing at LeBron. He was staring at LeBron. LeBron didn't react sometimes. Sometimes he did. After the game, Dillon Brooks was asked about, do we have the sound? Here is your latest villain in the NBA. Pick a side. Here we go.
There are some people, the Lakers are making that run, they get it to 14. You and LeBron have that exchange. There are people out there that say maybe you shouldn't do that with one of the better players in the game. What were you thinking?
I don't care. He's old. You know what I mean? I was waiting for that. I was expecting him to do that game 4, game 5. He wanted to say something when I got my 4th foul. He should have been saying that earlier on. But, I poke bears. I don't respect no one until they come and give me 40. So I pride myself on, what I do is defense and taking on any challenge that's on the board.
I mean, that's brilliant work. I would have not advised anything he just said, but I'm glad he did. If you haven't seen the video, he's rocking these great reflective sunglasses that probably cost $500.
Oh, he is stylish, brother.
And he's got this chain, this thick chain on with a DB with his initials hanging off of his neck.
Oh, do you have an ego or do you have an ego, fam?
It was so good. So good. I don't respect anybody until they bring me 40?
Yo,
Really?
He had the loudest 12 points I've ever seen last night. It was just barking at Bron, and he's right. Usually people start jabbing 4th or 5th game. I was shocked LeBron, it let him rattle him a little bit, and he is trying to poke the bear. He just admitted himself.
Yep.
And you know what? LeBron could either take the bait, because LeBron could get 40 on him, but that takes away from what the Lakers are trying to do, who the Lakers really are when they're at their best. And that's what we saw in game 1, where everybody was eating. Rui Hachimura,
Reeves.
Yeah, Austin Reeves was getting buckets. D'Angelo Russell was getting buckets. Anthony Davis had a solid game. And in this game, it was just Bron and Rui. So if you're Darvin Ham, I'm looking at Vanderbilt and I'm looking at D'Angelo Russell like, yo, y'all got one more game to show me something. We're going to go back to La La Land, and it's a huge game 3. We know the stats. Tie 1-1, winner of game 3 has a huge chance of winning the rest of the series. So y'all can't be mucking up. D'Angelo Russell just gives the worst energy when he's playing bad. 2 for 11. He just has that I'm too cool for school look. Like, he doesn't give a damn. Like Austin Reeves, he could have a bad game, but you could see him. You're like, oh, this guy's trying. He's playing hard. And that's just his style. D'Angelo Russell, when he turns the ball over, it's like, well, it don't matter. When he misses a shot, it's like, well, it's okay. And again, Coach Finch for Memphis, they did a really good job of just saying, okay, let's not allow these other guys to do well and say, LeBron, you could go get yours. And LeBron wasn't really going crazy like that. Like 28 for him, that's pretty light. He could get that 40. And Anthony Davis, he got abused by Xavier Tillman and Joe Jackson
What a
Jr.
bad night for him.
Awful.
Ugh.
Awful. Both of those guys. Xavier Tillman is their 3rd string center after Brandon Clark and Steven Adams.
Right.
And 21, 13? Huh? What?
He goes 22 and 13, and you go 4 for 14. I understand they had the jump ball, and he got hit in the eye and stuff, but come on, Davis. That's got to wake you up. That did not impair your vision for the rest of the game, and it certainly didn't need to impair your toughness. That was a bad performance from Davis. It helped to even that series up, and so tomorrow night is when you'll get the next game in this series, game 3. Dillon Brooks lays that out there, and I'm glad you said it that way too. So LeBron was 12 points away from 40. So does he hear that comment and try to get to 40 thinking that's the way to the victory? Or does he stay in his normal LeBron lane, which is, I got to get the rest of this thing going. It can't just be about me.
You stay in that same LeBron lane.
Okay.
Because that's how y'all win. The other guys have to step up. D'Angelo Russell can't do that. Anthony Davis, who needs to be the best player, if the Lakers want to win a championship, he can't have that 13 points, 4 for 14.
Yeah.
There's stuff like that can't happen. Anthony Davis is too good. D'Angelo Russell, you were a former number 1 pick. Look how many times D'Angelo Russell has bounced around in his young career. Like, he's not 30 yet.
2 of 11?
He got drafted by the Lakers. They said, okay, you're not good enough. He went to Brooklyn, had a really good little tenure in Brooklyn. Wasn't all-star, but then they were like, oh, you know what? You're not worth it being here. He was part of that Durant trade with Golden State, was there for a little bit. They said, nah, it's not going to work whenever Steph and Clay get healthy. We're going to ship you to Minnesota. Clearly didn't work there. Now he's back in L.A. This shouldn't happen to number 2 picks.
Yeah, that's a good
Like,
point.
it shouldn't happen to number 2 picks. And when he was coming out of Ohio State, he was so much better than everybody on the college level, and he made the game look so easy. They thought it was going to translate to the league, and it hasn't. So, yeah, he has to do better. Tyus Jones eating him alive last night.
Yeah.
Conchar blocked Anthony Davis shot. Give me that!
But a bunch of hard-working backups beat them.
Yeah, that's tough.
Is basically what happened. Combined, Russell and Davis were 6 of 25.
Yeah, and then
think about that.
And then you got LeBron calling Dillon Brooks an effing bum. Like, that's out of LeBron's character. LeBron,
Yeah.
he'll chirp at you, but in game 2, Dillon Brooks is right. It's a little early.
He's getting him.
It's a little early.
Yeah.
With no John Morant, come on, bruh.
Yeah, it's a really interesting series now. Lakers trying to go up 2-0 last night, but now that's a 1-all series. Milwaukee made it a 1-all series even without the freak last night, and Denver by the end of that game was better than Minnesota. They're up 2-0. We'll definitely talk about that because Jamal Murray went for 40.
These Kentucky dudes, man.
Good God.
Like, you feel kind of bad for Calipari for not being able to keep them around because they're talented, but in the new age of college basketball, that doesn't work anymore. He used to say all the time, I'll take talent over experience. It doesn't work that way when the experience is 24 and not 22.
It works to get him to the league.
Yeah.
I mean, it works to make that jump to the league, but Kentucky fans are sitting around like, hey, where's the basketball part?
He's about to lose another lottery pick, Carson Wallace, who's out of the Dallas area, who I was salty that Chris Beard didn't get whenever he was recruiting him. But if Carson Wallace aspirations are the NBA, then Kentucky is clearly that stepping stone to get to the league.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. All right, so a lot coming up on this Thursday. We will continue to read your pot stories on the Specs text line. Your best and your first or best pot experience. I'm finding out pretty quickly a lot of our listeners were smoking pot in high school. So we'll tell some of those stories coming up. Also, let's talk some NFL draft. Should Bijan go in the top 10? There's a national story getting to that today. Plus the NBA tonight should get wild with 2 West games at the same time late. You might need your coffee. Stay with us. It's The Horn. All right, this is Chad talking Apple leasing. Harge was talking about multiple options there. How about multiple options when it comes to the new car, truck, SUV, whatever you're looking for? If you've got different options and you just don't have time to go dealership to dealership to dealership and check all the selection and do all that, that's what Apple leasing can help you do. Plus, with the leasing system, you're going to be paying for the part of the car that you're using. You're always going to feel like you're driving the new car. Everything is going to be taken care of in terms of getting your finances in line and know exactly what that's going to be. They make it so simple for you. All the rebates, all the sales, all the incentives, all the discounts that dealers would get you, yeah, they'll get you those, but they'll get that hassle taken care of so you don't have to worry about it. You don't have to worry about sitting for hours and hours and hours signing documents because you're signing everything electronically, and they will deliver right to your driveway. They did that for me. If you need them to deliver to your driveway and drive away your trade-in, they will do that for you. They'll explain how all of it works. It's a very simple process, and they've been doing it for a long time, making sure people are satisfied. So just give them a call at 346-9977. It's that simple, 346-9977, or you can check them out online at appleleasing.com.
Chad and Zay.
Listen to that bass. God, that's good. Man. That bass string sounds like it's 2 feet wide. Man. All right, Zay, not often do you go into a theme, but are we going to have 420 themed music today?
Yeah. It's
Okay.
a must.
All right.
It's a must.
All right, where are we going here?
What? You don't know who this is?
Let me listen. Hang on.
Please listen. If you don't know this,
Then we're in trouble?
you might be banned from a few cookouts in the upcoming summer.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Do you?
Nah,
Oh my! I'll give you a hint.
I'm sorry.
I'll give you a hint.
I don't
Dave Chappelle.
Rick James?
There we go.
All right. Fair enough. I had another guess, but it was not Rick James.
When I said Dave Chappelle, or
No,
that?
before that. I figure every song I didn't know that had a little funk to it, I was just going to guess Bootsy Collins all day.
Oh yeah.
Bootsy or like
That would've been too
P-Funk
bad.
or something like that.
Yeah.
All right, so Rick James with the, is it just called Mary Jane?
Yeah.
Okay, fantastic. So he had Super Freak and Mary Jane.
Oh, he had the hit.
Rick James, he had it going on back then, no doubt.
Ironically, he was probably on a lot of cocaine while talking about the Mary Jane.
Yeah, that's kind of disingenuous if you
Right?
think about it.
Yeah.
But you always knew it because he wanted to talk about Mary Jane really fast. Really quick. It's a fast conversation. Rick James gets us started on 420. We are getting great stories on the Specs text line, 337-3776. Let's run through a couple here, and we'll talk about Bijan. You asked for an explanation on that parole officer thing. You said, what about the PO? They texted back, no worries with the PO. He bought weed from me. Easiest 2 years of parole. Okie dokie.
Oh, what is wrong with that guy?
Oh, but Zay, here's the story. You're going to be jealous of this one. This says, I was at Red Man and Method Man on 6th Street. Was smoking a blunt at the front of the stage, and Red Man asked me to hit the blunt, then stop the show to let everyone know that my weed was the S, then invited me and my girl on the bus to smoke after the show. I was also the manager of a gentleman's establishment at the time, so I invited them to my club, which they came to with Ghostface, who was opening for them.
Oh, that's dope.
Come on.
That's
Now
dope.
that's the kind of pot story I'm looking for today.
Yeah,
That
Red
is-
Man, Met the Man, How High? That's a pothead classic movie.
Now, it's these texts that are starting to worry me, Zay. This says middle school at the Buddies,
Oh, come on.
and then every day before school since and still. Class of 05? Okay. This one says Lockhart High. Oh, buddy, we were high right before team dinner. And then the 100 emoji twice.
Yo, with the barbecue out there in Lockhart. Yeah, smoking before that?
Come on,
I can
man.
see it.
Somebody else says their first weed experience was with, get this, the A&M football team in College Station.
That might be the most accurate one.
Okie doke.
Yeah,
Now
that
this,
makes the most sense.
this is what I was looking for. Helped record a live show with Willie while working at KUT in 96. Smoked a joint with the bass player outside of Willie's bus after the sound check. Can't be sure if he was or wasn't on the bus. We'll give you that one. That's good. I'm going to assume Willie was on the bus.
Yeah, I heard Willie can't smoke no more. I heard he has to do gummies and different things.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, because of his age.
Willie used to say that marijuana, pot and sex pot was like sex for him. If he didn't have some every day, it gave him a headache.
Man.
He's fantastic. What a legend. What a legend. Shout out to Willie today on 420. Willie and Snoop Dogg and the legend of Bob Marley and all kinds of musicians and folks that are associated with pot today. All right, so it is 420. We'll continue those stories. Specs text line 337-3776. We want your first or best pod experience on this 420. All right, so NFL draft comes up a week from today. We are 7 days away, and Zay, your man Bijan has a front and center stage position today with ESPN.com. Right across the front. The article says, the title is, Meet Bijan Robinson, a generational NFL draft talent in the wrong generation. And then we all know where they're going with that.
Right.
So they break it down and they go through the article about, do you absolutely draft a running back? How high would you draft one? Here's the way I start thinking about it today. Name me the last Super Bowl champion for you where if we change the running back, they don't win the title. Like, how far back do you have to go where you'd say if you take that running back off the team, there's no way they win a Super Bowl?
Wow.
Because immediately I thought of 3 Cowboys titles with Emmett.
Yeah.
I thought of Bettis and the Steelers.
Okay.
Craig Way, as he walked out of here, because he's a Rams guy, said, hey, what if you took Marshall Faulk off that team?
Yeah, 99.
And I'm thinking, you know what? He was so damn versatile, which could get us to the Bijan discussion again. Like, okay, that's Super Bowl 34.
Yeah, Terrell Davis.
Davis would have been 31 and 32. Absolutely. Yes, no doubt.
Yeah, Wade Shanahan drove him to the ground.
Good
Hell
call.
yeah.
So you got the Emmett run, then it's Terrell Davis right after that, then Marshall, and then you skip a ways to Bettis. But I would never argue that any of Brady's rings
Probably by committee.
were critical.
Mike Allstott and Warwick Dunn. Like, I don't know which one was better, but they had a thunder and lightning thing going on. That was tough.
You just kind of made the point, though. Warwick wasn't on that team.
He wasn't on that team?
Nope. It's the father of a current receiver that was the running back.
Get the hell out of here.
Michael Pittman Sr.
Wow.
That was the running back on the Super Bowl champs.
Interesting.
Warwick was in Atlanta by then.
Wow.
Allstott was on that team.
Right.
But Michael Pittman was the running back.
Okay.
See, there you go.
Yeah, it's tough, man.
So that is sort of the discussion now about, and the last guy clearly we would talk about is Saquon Barkley. That level of talent where the Giants thought, man, we got to take him. But have the Giants gotten any closer to winning a Super Bowl because they took Saquon Barkley?
Marshawn Lynch.
Marshawn Lynch with Seattle.
Marshawn Lynch with Seattle.
Okay.
I don't know if Seattle wins that ring without him.
Okay. Now, the defense was nasty.
They were.
And they smashed Denver in that Super Bowl.
They did.
You think if I take Marshawn Lynch off that team, they lose that game?
I don't know if they lose that game, but I don't know if they get there.
But you don't know if they get the whole thing. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Maybe we'll give Marshawn that love. He was a blast to watch.
Oh, he was stupid.
I hated the fact. I didn't like the idea of a losing team making the playoffs. Like, I think they ought to put a rule in for that. But his run against the Saints was created by that rule, created by the fact that they were a losing team that won.
Right.
Oh, my God. That's still one of the greatest moments ever. So that's sort of the discussion around Bijan Robinson. And I was looking at the draft order earlier, Zay, and I keep coming back to those damn Eagles. There's a couple other teams that might look at him early. But if you're Atlanta at 8, don't you have way more issues to deal with?
Oh, yeah.
So you're probably not taking him there. We've heard the discussion later on about Detroit at 18, 21 Chargers, obviously 26 Cowboys and 26 Cowboys, 27 Bills has been discussed. But I haven't, the highest I'm hearing about him maybe going is that Eagles pick at 10.
Yeah, every team that you just said is a playoff or on the cusp of the playoff type team. Like Detroit, they're right there.
Mm-hmm.
I think Dan Campbell, they've done all the right things in the offseason. I thought Jared Goff had a really good year last year. Without no Williams anymore, he's in New Orleans. I think Bijan will be a huge pickup for them, and that would shift the NFC North a lot.
Yeah, no, you're right. That's a good example of one of those, and that's at 18. So they'd be making the pick. Like, if you could pick Bijan Robinson as a luxury, that's what's going to be fascinating here. You're already there. In a way, that's what Detroit could do. The Eagles would do it that way. That's kind of what the Cowboys would do, although the Cowboys need a running back now.
Yeah.
They absolutely need something to go with Tony Pollard.
What do you mean, kinda? That is what the Cowboys are going to do. You see Gilmore, you see Cooks.
Yes, they need somebody to go with.
Big Mike calling
Pollard.
plays.
But
everything's there. Click away.
I mean, I think about the last time the Eagles won the Super Bowl. That touchdown pass to Clement. Is it Chris Clement? I think is his name. He ran an incredible wheel route. Nick Foles hits him in the back of the end zone. It was one of the biggest plays of that game, and I thought, yeah, Bijan could do that. Bijan absolutely could do that for them. So will they take him that high in the draft? Cowboys fans, there continue to be mock drafts out there. I think they're just trying to torture Cowboys fans, where the Bills get him at 27. Now, that can't happen. As a Cowboys fan, I'm going to say it very clearly. That can't happen. Mike Harge and me and all these Cowboy fans listening right now, we're going to lose our minds if he's staring at the Cowboys at 26. And at that point, those 2 tight ends are probably off the board. There's no receiver that'll be available right then that would make sense over Bijan Robinson. And your coach said you want to run the damn ball. And you're going to let it go by?
Yeah, it wouldn't make any sense. And, Dalton Schultz is gone. We know that. I'm not so sold on the Cowboys getting a tight end if Bijan's there. I'd ride with Hendershot and Ferguson for one more year.
And you got other tight ends in this draft.
Yeah.
It is deep. The guy you and I love so much from Georgia, he'll be there. He might be there in the second round for him. Washington.
Yeah, maybe.
He might.
That boy gets to the second round, I won't be shocked.
That's some big value if somebody can get him there. I'm because apparently the kid from Utah and Mayer are going to go before him. And maybe that Iowa guy. That's where I'm wondering, does he go third after them, or does the Iowa kid go first and then it's Washington? Because I think Washington's going to be a hell of a pro.
Yeah, man. He did everything that you could ask for from a blocking standpoint. He just didn't get the opportunities to catch the ball because Bowers was the one catching all the touchdowns and passes at tight end spot for Georgia. So I think I'd pick him the first tight end. Not even close.
Yeah, we talked about it way, way back. Weeks ago, I told you as a Cowboys fan, if he was there, if Bijan's off the board and he's staring at him at 26, I wouldn't have any problem with it. No problem. I also like that TCU receiver idea if Johnson's still there. Quentin Johnson. I like that idea. So, Longhorn fans, you can let us know what you're thinking. Now, again, it's the Eagles-Cowboys thing. We know how weird that is. But if you're an NFL team in the top 10, would you take Bijan Robinson? No doubt about it. If you're the Eagles, Lions, Cowboys, Bills, whoever else you want to add to that list. If you already have a good team and you just need another element, wouldn't Bijan Robinson make a lot of sense? Maybe we're just too close to it because we follow Texas every day and every season. Zay's a Texas fan and we have to cover him all the time. Maybe we're just too close. Maybe we're banging our head on the tree and we're missing the forest. So please let us know if you just stay new school NFL and say, we do not take a running back first round. You can't do it.
Yeah, if you had no shot of making the playoffs last year or weren't even close, don't take Bijan Robinson. If you were, then take him.
Yeah.
Like the Eagles, like the Lions, and all these other teams, like Chargers too, like the Austin Eckler thing.
Oh, that makes a ton of sense at 21. That's another team to be stupid not to take him.
Yeah, Austin Eckler, bye. We ain't going to pay you, bro. We going to take this dude.
That would be it right there, yeah.
By the way, Jeff House said, can he take your spot at the cookout? Sure. Jeff has his own parking spot, so he ain't got to worry about taking your spot.
Yeah, Jeff, you're good at the cookout, man. You are absolutely good. I apologize for not being able to identify the Rick James. That is more proof that I have never done the pot, isn't it? It really is. If I can't identify the Rick James Mary Jane song, you know I've never smoked. That's how you know for sure. Tell us your best or your first or your best pot story on 420. Coming up in the crap bag, I will give you the quick history of 420. Does it have to do with Bob Marley? Is it something about the police code? Is it a couple of kids at high school? I will tell you next on The Horn.
Chad and Zay.
What a great idea. Now, if I'm not mistaken, this is Willie and Snoop Dogg, correct? Is it Snoop on the record?
It doesn't say Snoop, but I know Snoop's on the version of this. Yeah.
Okay. Roll me up and smoke me when I die. It's fantastic. Willie and Rick James have gotten us started on this 420. There he is.
There we go.
Come on. If you don't want to hear a conversation between those two guys about pot, I don't know what to do. You could be like me and have never smoked pot a day in your life. I want to hear those two guys discuss it. That'd be fantastic. Let me hear their first story.
Yeah.
When did Willie first smoke pot? When did Snoop first smoke pot? That'd be fantastic. We're getting great stories in on the Specs text line, 337-3776. Your first and or best time that you have been involved with the pot. We've already had somebody that smoked with Willie's bass player. Somebody just texted us they smoked with Cedric Benson back in the day.
Oh, that's dope.
The late, great Cedric Benson. Rest in peace. That's had to be a hell of a moment.
Yeah, a lot of Longhorn legends love pot. Ricky Williams. Yeah. I just retweeted a Kevin Durant post where he's talking about how much he loves it with David Letterman and how he was high during the interview. So, watch KD tonight and go on the La La Land. He might give Kawhi and them 40.
And then what I'm learning, Zay, is apparently I was missing the pot in College Station because somebody else texted they visited A&M considering it for grad school, somehow got into an empty Kyle Field, found a joint on a bench at Kyle Field and smoked it.
Gross.
They had a lighter on them and smoked it in an empty Kyle Field.
Just a random joint.
I was about to say, is that appropriate?
Not at all. That's very dangerous.
You're finding some random?
I don't recommend that to no one.
All right. We also got an incredible story from ACL from back in the day. I'll tell that one here in a second. But let's get into the crap bag, and I'll give you the quick history on 420. It's one of my favorite little stories in American lore. Here we go.
Chad's crap bag.
Crap bag. If you need an easy way to remember it, just think of a bag of crap.
Brought to you by AV Consultations, 255-8678, or go to avconsultations.com. Is it 420 because Bob Marley was born on 420? No, Bob Marley was born in February, although Stephen Marley was born on this day. He's 51 years old today, so the second oldest son of Bob Marley. That's cosmic right there. If you don't believe that's the cosmos at work, I don't know what to do, because Bob Marley had to have a kid that was born on 420, right? And he does, but it's not because of Bob. Is it 420 because that was the police code for marijuana? No. Is it because there are 420 ingredients at work in pot at any? No, it's not. It's actually more than that. Here's what happened. Early 70s, 1971, there was a group of kids. This is high school kids. That's who did this. 1971, San Rafael, California. Think of them as the potheads, but if they were in the Goonies movie. Apparently these kids were looking for a famous stash of pot that they started to refer to as 420. And they never actually found the pot. They were called the Waldos because they like to hang out near the wall of this school, right? But then they came up with a meeting place. The meeting place was a statue of Louis Pasteur in the high school area. It's still there to this day. So they would refer to it as 420 Louis. 420 also became the time they wanted to go smoke. So 420 in the afternoon. So their little code word was 420 Louis. They were, hey, we're meeting at the Louis statue, and we're going to be smoking, and it's going to be 420. That's 1971. The first reference to it in High Times magazine came in 91, and they referenced the police code thing, which was wrong. Then in the late 90s, the Waldo story kind of came back around. There's also, this is my favorite little side story, there's also a story that a roadie with the Grateful Dead, the roadie for the bass player, was one of these original kids from San Rafael High School, spread the word around the country on a Grateful Dead tour, or 2 or 6 or 8, and that's how the story started to get around the country. And then eventually 420, April 20th, also became known as that day. So it started as the time of day. It started, Zay, so it's ironic that these people are texting us about middle school and high school days, because it's high school kids that really started 420.
Interesting.
How about that? In Cali. It makes sense that it's Cali.
Yeah, it makes sense, Cali.
Right.
Some
that
of the
it's
best bud in the world.
So back in 71 was that. All right, now check this story out. This has got a good Austin feel to it. This one says, one year at ACL, I found a little area that no one else seemed to know about. Toots and the Maytals were about to play, so I was tuning up for the show when I heard someone say, "Hey, man, can I have a puff or two?" I looked up, and it was Toots Herbert himself. We finished the joint. He was truly appreciative and was impressed with Texas weed. 2 minutes later, he was grooving up on stage, and I was grooving in the crowd. That's a great story. I saw Toots and the Maytals as a part of Willie's Picnic a couple years. Great band, great feel, great vibe to them. I have not smoked with Toots, though. That's a great story.
That is a dope story.
That's what you want right there. So a lot of good stuff out there today.
Yeah, that Aggie thing, finding the pot at Kyle Field and just picking it up and ripping it, that's wild.
Yeah, I didn't know that pot culture would accept that.
Hell no.
Like if I'm at a party, I guess, and I trusted everybody that's in the room, that'd be
Still
one thing.
no.
But we're random, just out in public?
Yeah, we're in the fentanyl era. No.
Well, especially now.
Hell
yeah,
no.
this is obviously, yeah. Back then, I guess it's a little different. Oh, my God. This says they partook, is that the words at the past tense? With Stoney Clark. I'm a Sooner, so he was always giving me the business about that game-saving tackle. Fun dude. That's fantastic. Fantastic. All right, we thank you for your stories. Those are continuing to come in on this 420, your first or your favorite pot story on 420. So there's a little bit of the history of it for you. Zay's got more 420 music coming up. Jeff Howe is coming right up from horns247.com. Probably reach back and get some of his thoughts on the spring game. But we've also got this basketball update, horns247.com, breaking that story earlier about Max Abmas being on campus yesterday, visiting with Rodney Terry and the coaches. He was at the baseball game last night, soaking up some law. It's a good baseball game to go to, by the way.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
20-0, ends early because they have a run rule there. By the way, I think that's another thing Major League Baseball needs to seriously consider to help quicken things up in the regular season. They need to have a run rule in place for regular season games, just in case they need it. 10 after 7.
They're already bitching about selling beer in later innings because these games are going so fast. You think they're going to buy that?
Yeah, probably not.
That ain't going to happen.
By the way, I applaud there's some pitcher out there that realized the math. Everybody's doing the math the wrong way. He's like, wait a second. If the games are ending sooner, selling beer all the way to the 8th inning defeats the purpose. You got to stop earlier. He goes, you need to do it in the 6th instead of the 8th. But I thought, well, that's baseball fans aren't going to go for that.
No.
I get what he's saying, though.
Yeah.
If it's about the time frame, then what are you doing? I would ask, if you're still going to let the people in the suites drink all the way to the end anyway and drink the hard stuff, why don't you just let everybody drink? Why don't you trust adults? It's kind of what it should be about, right? That's why we finally got beer in college football stadiums.
Yeah.
Doesn't that make, that's one I never understood. We don't trust the guy the last row to figure out his alcohol intake, but we trust McConaughey in a suite? Huh?
I say we should give everybody a breathalyzer test on their way out.
Oh, come
and
on.
if you're over a certain limit, you got to stay and help clean.
Wow.
Yeah.
Stadiums would get a lot cleaner.
They would.
A lot faster.
Exactly.
You clean until you're sober and then you can leave?
You'd be making the world a better place and Major League Baseball stadiums.
That's deep. That is deep right there.
And you might get a little extra if you help get the possum out of the Oakland A's stadium.
Yes, please get that thing out of there.
Which they're leaving. A's are leaving, going to Vegas.
I saw that. They got an agreement.
Possum, last straw.
So we're going to have the Vegas Raiders and the Vegas A's?
I'm with it. Yo, that white-ass rat, it can't happen. That's the last straw.
Yeah, that's probably it. Get that done. No possums in Vegas.
No.
A lot in Vegas, but I don't think they have possums out there. All right, so we got hour number 2 coming up. Jeff Howe, and then we'll get you a Flex 30 segment at 1:30, and I'll tell you more about that free camp for the weekend. Also, a Flex legend visited a local team that he knows a little bit about. That's the 1 o'clock hour coming up. Happy 420. Smoke them if you got them, or, just let the people that want to do it. Can we legalize it everywhere, please? Come on. This is The Horn. All right, let's go hour number 2 on this Thursday. Not just any Thursday. It is 420. For those of you that care, get into it, are baking stuff today, or are baked today, we hope you are having a great 420. Make sure you're doing it responsibly, and make sure that make sure you're remembering all your high school and middle school days, because apparently that's where it all started for a lot of people. We are asking you for your first or best pot experiences, and we've already had somebody that smoked with Willie's bass player and somebody that smoked with Toots from Toots and the Maytals. Now that's fantastic.
Yeah, Cedric Benson. Y'all are out here, man.
Stoney Clark. A lot of people throwing out some legends that they've maybe partaken with over the years.
Yeah, weed brings a lot of people together,
which is a good thing.
It is.
Yeah, it is a great thing. With everything we know about it, how it is not legal in every one of these 50 states, I do not understand.
Yeah.
I do not understand because we're already showing in the states where it has been legalized that there's a lot of money created from that. So hope you're having a great 420. We'll get back into that discussion. If you have those stories for us, send them to the Specs text line 337-3776. Right now, we remind you, it is Chad and Zay. I'm Chad Hastings. He is Isaiah Collier. We got a lot of stuff to get into, including right now on the Vaqueros Cafe and Cantina hotline. We do it every Thursday about this time, whether it's 420 or not, with Jeff Howe of horns247.com. Remember, if you missed the Longhorn Blitz podcast, if you haven't grabbed that this week, we will get that to you tonight at 7. We weren't able to bring it to you last night because of Texas baseball, but they'll be on at 7 tonight. Jeff, Rod, and Matt breaking down the spring game from last weekend. And, of course, you can check Jeff out on Light the Tower every weekday, 10 to noon. Jeff, what's going on, man?
Chad, I'm sorry I won't see you at the cookout since you've been permabanned from said event.
You know, again, it's just
my condolences.
Yeah, I'm sorry too. I really wanted to go to the cookout, but it's one of those things where sometimes, other than Super Freak, I do not have enough of that Rick James catalog in my brain. I'm so sorry.
If nothing else, if you've seen Friday, you should know that song.
I know, right? No, and I've seen Friday, but it was once, and it was a while ago. I haven't rewatched Friday over and over and over.
I'm gonna get you high today, Craig.
I think it'll be on either BET or VH1 this afternoon, so you can.
Definitely BET, Jeff. Definitely BET.
Oh my God, that is fair.
Am I joking? Say it's like it's always like that and Bad Boys, and there's one other one like Baby Boy. One of those three is going to be on TV when I get home.
Yeah, Boys in the Hood, any of those. Yep, absolutely.
That's fantastic. All right, Jeff. I know Longhorn basketball fans would love it if they could start to hear some good transfer portal stories, not just guys on a visit, but guys that are coming to Texas for sure. Obviously, you've been talking about these stories for a while now over at horns247.com. Let's talk about Max Abmas. Obviously, the big man just came in, Shedrick from Virginia. Abmas yesterday. Any update on, I guess, those two guys? Are they both still, available? Are they both still in play for Texas?
Yeah, Max Abmas is still on his visit right now. Should be wrapping that up here fairly soon. He's the one I feel best about right now. I dropped a nugget on the flagship message board at Horns 24/7 earlier. What I'm hearing is just from the visit and kind of everything surrounding that recruitment. The confidence is building in Texas' chances to close this deal and get Max Abmas. And I think if he's the kind of guy that if you get him, you can really start to fill out this roster around him. He's the kind of guy that I think people would come to Texas to play with. And unless you were watching a lot of Summit League basketball or you're just a college basketball sicko like Zay is, you probably don't know that much about Max Abmas, but this is a guy for his career, averaging about 21 a game, career 39% shooter from three, about 3.5 rebounds, 3.5 assists thereabout per game for his career. So really, really good player, the type of player that comes in. He's the face of the franchise. He's the face of the program. And like I said, I think Texas, because they were on him from the jump when he went in the portal, I think because they've made him a priority, they've made him feel like a priority, even before they knew what Arterio Morris was doing. I think the fact that they've been on him so long and to get him on campus, and the fact that once he left Manhattan still available, Because I know Jerome Tang, from what I was told, Jerome Tang and that K-State staff pushed really hard to get him to not take that Texas visit and just to shut it down at that point. But I think him leaving Manhattan still available and getting to Texas, of the guys Texas has had on campus, the guys they've targeted, he's the one I feel best about Texas being able to close the deal.
Yeah, Jeff, just looking ahead, you think about Asmus, if he were to come to Texas and play, he would probably be a starter. I mean, you just named the stats, 3 straight years of over 22 points a game. That's really impressive, especially for his height. I don't care if you're power 6 or a mid-major guy, but him being at that stature, and you see somebody like Tyrese Hunter, which it looks like it sounds like he's going to come back, and both of those guys kind of having to have the ball in their hands, do you think it could work with those two guys being on the court at the same time?
Yeah, I mean, Tyrese made it work with Marcus Carr, who's a guy that, we know takes a lot of shots and needs the ball in his hands, and the staff wanted the ball in his hands late in games. I do think, though, what's interesting is, this staff went into the portal with the mindset of looking for a guy that could play on the ball a little bit more to allow Tyrese to play off the ball. And I think there's confidence growing that Tyrese is just going to continue to develop as a shooter and that part of his game will be there. So I don't worry about that, Zay, as much as I worry about somebody filling the role that it looked like Arterio Morris was going to fill as really, for lack of a better term, kind of a 3-and-D type guy, a guy that, at 6'3", with really good length, you could count on him to be a really good defender, and he can knock down shots from the outside. That's where I thought Jaden Nunn would have been a great fit for Texas. Just as a guy at 6'4" with length, was probably the best defender available in the portal. And for Texas to not get him, especially for him going to Baylor, that one hurt. But I think if you can get things locked up with Max Asmus, I think now you don't worry about having offensive production with he and Tyrese Hunter. I think the goal then for your backcourt to start to fill that thing out is, can you get a guard, like I said, a 6'3", 6'4" with length that can really get down and defend? That becomes a priority, I think, if you're our team and the staff.
Talking with Jeff Howe, horns247.com. All right, Jeff, let's talk a little spring game here. Obviously, things can happen in the spring game that are legitimate to get excited about. Sometimes there's things where people might get a little overly excited because you just can't tell. So give me something from the spring game you'd tell a fan, yeah, I'll let you have that one. Get excited. And then give me something where you'd say, calm down. We just got to wait and see.
I'll let you get excited about the depth on this team because it's a lot of young depth. It's depth that's got growth potential, and you see it at multiple positions. That's the way the staff is recruited. And I'm not going to say they've got it figured out from a player development standpoint, but they're on the right track. They're doing the right things when it comes to developing talent. That's one thing I think you can buy into. The arrow is pointing up for this team, just in terms of the talent level and the fact that it looks like talent is starting to get developed for the first time in a long time. The one that I'm always hesitant to buy into with any spring game is anything revolving around the quarterbacks because it's a controlled environment. The defense is going to know how to pull up, not make the quarterback vulnerable. There's so many variables that are in play in the spring game that just aren't what it's going to be like once you get to real football. And I think, too, people kind of get lost in the muck of, I think Malik looked good enough that he should get a run at the ones. And I think Arch needs to keep being in that conversation. And Quinn did this or so-and-so did that. I think you can look at all three of those guys and see where they're good right now, but no understanding where they need to improve. But just the fact that Texas in the transfer portal / one-time transfer era of college football, the fact that you're on track to go into August with 3 quarterbacks on different development tracks that can fill 3 different roles that you feel really good about, that's about as much of a best-case scenario as you can hope for. So I'm not going to buy into, Quinn looks like he could do this or, Malik can be the guy or whatever. Don't buy into that. Just be happy with the fact that you've got 3 quarterbacks that, based on where they're at their points in development, all 3 of them look like they're going to contribute at some point. They're just on the different development tracks. And again, that's about as good as you can hope for in the transfer portal area.
Jeff, when Brennan Thompson entered the portal, a lot of Horn fans were upset because they know what he can be with his speed. But when you see that wide receiver room, Chris Jackson, I could see why he left the NFL to come to Texas and work with that crew, from A.D. Mitchell and that one-hand snag that he had, Jonte Cook on that beautiful deep route pass, Xavier Worthy, etc. How impressed were you on Saturday from this wide receiver core moving forward?
See, I just cut an Instagram reel for our Instagram page, and I didn't even mention A.D. Mitchell talking about the wide receivers. That's how deep this group is. I think when you throw J.T. Sanders into that mix too, you got to go back to kind of those halcyon days under Mac Brown where you're rattling off 10-win seasons and you're in the national discussion every year, to find the last time that you had a collection of perimeter skill talent that was this deep and this talented. It's been a while. That's how good this group is. And look at all the weapons that you saw get used in the spring game, and think about the fact that Casey Kane was on the sideline with a shoulder injury. You still got Isaiah Nayer coming back from the knee injury. We didn't see a ton of J.T. Sanders, but we really didn't need to on Saturday. You've still got Ryan Niblett coming in this summer with the rest of the freshmen. So, it's about as loaded of a wide receiver room as you could possibly hope to have. So it's one of those deals. I think with Brennan Thompson, the decision to not go through spring ball and to go through track, he would have been so far behind even a guy like Jonte Cook. You just wonder, man, are you ever going to be able to catch up? Like that's how good this room is. So it's unfortunate because somebody's going to get a really talented player with some upside, but that's one position where you knew there was going to be some attrition in some way, shape, or form. You just didn't know who or when. But if I'm Chris Jackson, as much as you may have liked Brennan Thompson, I'm not losing any sleep over any of those guys that left leaving. I've got to like my room where it's at right now.
Yeah, there's no doubt. There's just so much talent on the field. And, Jeff, I thought, one of the things to me that this offense needs to do to just take that next step, it's the basic stuff. We know they're going to take their shots, but it's the basic stuff I like. I like a third down where Whittington runs a little route across the middle. You hit the route accurately. He moves the sticks, and you keep on going. Jordan Whittington is a guy, to me, that is going to be so critical for what they want to do. And for Texas fans that are interested, for you, is that where it's going to be the most comfortable for him? Put him in that slot, make it a tough cover for whoever's dealing with him, and then work around and work everybody else around that?
Probably. I'm in the camp that thinks this offense needs to revolve around J.T. Sanders because, he's your mismatch. Last year, your running backs were the mismatch. You could do so many different things with those guys, and a defense really didn't have an answer for him. I think this year it's J.T. Sanders. If you flex him out, what are you going to do? Because he can body up a nickelback or a safety, and he can outrun linebackers. So you're really in no man's land. You really just kind of got to, go with God and hope whatever you roll out to stop him works. I think it starts with Sanders, but then you look at Whittington and with the weapons you've got right now, with the depth you've got, you don't have to pigeonhole Xavier Worthy into a role. You can really kind of use him a little more liberally. And I think we've talked a lot about this on the Blitz, and I'm in 100% agreement. I'm in lockstep with Rod on this. I think what we saw from Quinn in the bowl game. And even parts of the TCU game, it was just too late when they went to it in the TCU game. When the shots weren't there for one reason or another, and the defense was willing to just give them those short, easy completions, we saw Quinn do it a little bit in the TCU game, but really in the second half of the bowl game when they started moving the ball, the fact that Quinn was willing to take those easy completions and Sark was willing to let him take those quick, easy completions and really get the quick game established, I think that's how this offense is going to have to function. Chad, that's what you're talking about, getting Whittington involved. And Worthy can do some of that. Jonte Cook can do some of that. A.D. Mitchell can do some of that. And you've got Mitchell and Cook and Isaiah Nayer that can be your vertical guys. But the fact that you don't have that innate advantage you had with two backs and to be able to line up at 12 personnel with two tight ends, naturally that's going to create a situation where the defense has to roll an extra defender into the box to account for your run game. You don't have that luxury this year, and with as much talent as you've got at receiver, I don't know that Texas will play as much 12 personnel. Maybe they will, but I don't think it'll be an overwhelming amount of 12 personnel, be the predominant personnel grouping like it was last year. And I think they're going to play more 11 personnel, maybe even some 10 personnel with JT Sanders as a legit wide receiver. So, I say all that to say this: the key for Sark, I think, has to be, all right, how quickly can I get that opposing defense to drop an extra guy down to get them in a one-high safety look, where now you're creating man-to-man situations on the outside. Now that's going to naturally open up your vertical shots, and that's really when you can do it. So you got to work. I think you got to work your pass game that way. And with the running game, I think to an extent still being a work in progress. We still really don't know what this run game is going to look like. I think that's how you've got to do it. I think you've got to do it with your quick game. And if you want the best example of kind of what I'm talking about, think about what Texas did, in 2008 with Quan Cosby and Jordan Shipley in their screen game. And then in 2019, what they were doing with Devin Duvernay. I think something like 60 to 65% of the balls Devin Duvernay caught when he had that 100-catch season, I think like 60 to 65% of them were at or behind the line of scrimmage. They're basically just long handoffs to get your guy the ball in space. So I see that being how Texas opens things up, gets Quinn comfortable, gets him some easy throws, let your guys go make plays in space. And then you can, if you're successful at that, which they should be, then you should be able to funnel everything else out from there and be able to run what you want and take your deep shots, etc.
Yeah, Jeff, I love the sound of that. JT Sanders being the main focus for this offense, that 21 personnel, or hell, I mean, I'm not 21, but like even just having guys out there like a Keelan Robinson, who we didn't even see, putting him in the backfield, maybe with a Cedric Baxter, etc. But the freshmen on this squad, Anthony Hill, he did his thing, got a sack. You saw Landon LaFowl making things happen. I just mentioned C.J. Baxter and that nice cut he had on Malik Muhammad. We saw Arj, Jonte Cook. Which freshman impressed you the most on Saturday, and also just moving forward to have a big season to produce when September comes around?
I don't know how much he'll play just because of the guys in front of him, but the fact that Sadir Mitchell was able to flash, anytime you got a guy that big, you just kind of wonder, okay, how are they going to move? How impactful are they going to be? And the fact that Sadir Mitchell at, 355, 360, 370, whatever he is, he looks like one of those zero techs like Georgia and Alabama have had recently. Like the Jordan Davis type, that they're just so big, but they can move, and the upside is really high. So that's more of a down the line kind of thing I'm thinking with Sadir Mitchell. The two guys that stand out to me, though, and then I saw a little bit of it with what we got to see early on in spring ball, but just hearing from behind the scenes, I mean, this staff, from everything I've heard, they felt like they hit 2 grand slams at off-ball linebacker takes with Leonga LaFowl and Anthony Hill. And I think the fact, Blake Brockermeyer actually has a piece right now. He helps us on the college football side at 24/7 Sports, but he's got a piece up at Horns 24/7 right now, basically saying how Anthony Hill is kind of maybe the next in line in that Micah Parsons type mold. And I don't think that's that far off. I mean, you look at Anthony Hill, all the physical gifts he's got, just the violence he plays with. And then the fact that he's a guy that you can do so many different things with. I mean, he's fast enough to be a 3-down linebacker, instinctive enough to be able to handle himself in coverage, his ability to rush the passer, his ability as a blitzer, the physicality that he can hang in there and defend the run. I'm surprised, not that he's good, that he's been this impactful, this quick into his career, just what we've seen and what we've heard from the practice field. And I think the fact that you talk to people inside the program, and the fact that they think Leonga LaFowl is right there with him. The linebacker position at Texas is about to change for the better. It's going to look a whole lot different here probably in the next 12 to 18 months than it does right now.
Jeff, couple quick things before we let you go. Somebody texted in the question I've been wondering as well, and obviously we'll really find out if he becomes a Longhorn. Have you heard anything on this Max Abmas pronunciation? The name has got A-B right there at the beginning, but it's pronounced Abmas. Have we heard a reason why?
Yeah. I have no idea. I'm just rolling with what I know.
Yeah, no, and that's everybody I know that knows about it is definitely saying it that way. I haven't heard exactly why. The other thing, real quick, Jeff, is one of our listeners have done the research. Friday will be on 2:00 on E. So if you want to check it out today, it's on. I will set.
Okay.
But see, I can't record it on E. They're going to edit it.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not watching an edited version
can't.
of Friday.
Yeah, you can't watch that.
I'm sorry. I got to.
If I'm lying on dime, man, you will find Baby Boy or Friday or Bad Boys. You will find one of those three on at any given time on your cable box.
Fair enough. Fair enough. And I do love the original Bad Boys. But I got to get the regular version of that one, too. That is Jeff Howe, horns247.com. All the cool stuff there. If you go to hornfm.com, you can find a link to a great breakdown of Max Asmus. And again, he was on campus yesterday. And like Jeff said, finishing up the visit today, one of the transfer portal guys in basketball. Also, Longhorn Blitz podcast tonight at 7, breaking down the spring game even more. And Light the Tower tomorrow at 10 a.m. Jeff, we appreciate the time, man. Have a great weekend. Enjoy your 420.
You boys doing the album swap today?
Yes, album swap. Lil Wayne and Living Color today.
I'm impressed that their Living Color has more songs than Cult of Personality, so that's a win. I didn't know they had enough to fill out an album.
Yeah, I'm just about tired of you insulting Living Color this week. I'm hoping Zay likes Living Color a little more than you do. That's what I'm hoping. We'll see.
I don't have a problem with Living Color. I just didn't know they had anything outside of Cult of Personality. So that's good to know.
Oh, it's good stuff. It is a good album. All right, we'll talk about that coming up in about an hour. You take care, brother.
All right, see you guys.
Yeah,
Thanks, Jeff.
Good stuff there. All right, we'll hope that Zay doesn't have the same thought about Living Color coming up in an hour. We will talk Vivid from Living Color and Lil Wayne's The Carter album from 2004 in our album swap today. Up next in the Flex 30, a Flex legend visiting a local team to give him a little motivation, and he's hoping for a draft spot, plus a free camp that involves a guy that's hoping for a draft spot next week as well. The Flex segment is coming right up. Zay's got Where We At in Society at the end of the hour. Keep it right here. This is The Horn. All right, let's talk Underdog Fantasy. Easiest place to play fantasy sports. You can go NBA playoffs with a pick'em game or MLB pick'em. How about this? I did a pick'em game for Rangers and Orioles yesterday, and I won. Here were my three. Martin Perez, 92.5 pitch count. I said under. He had 85. Bobby Witt Jr., higher than 1.5 total bases. He had 4. And Marcus Semien, 0.5 runs. I said he'd go higher, and he scored 2 runs. That is how it works. You're picking higher or lower on those stats. You go to the Pick'em tab, and again, you can do MLB, you can do NBA, you can mix it up. There's a lot of different choices there. You're picking between 2 and 5 players to build a Pick'em entry. Get all your picks right, and you can win up to 20 times your money on a single game. You can look at those rivals picks as well, which pits 2 players against each other. So check it out today. I got it right here on my phone. You could do the same thing. Sign up today with the promo code HORN. Get your first deposit doubled up to $100. Visit UnderdogFantasy.com or find them in the App Store. And don't forget to register with my promo code HORN to get your first deposit doubled up to $100. Must be 18 or over and present in a state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-522-4700 or visit www.ncpgambling.org. NBA Pick'em and MLB Pick'em right now at Underdog Fantasy.
Chad and Zay.
Oh, yes, it is 420. Zay doesn't often go into a theme, but he is getting you some 420 vibe today. We've already had Rick James. We've already had Willie Nelson. Should I know this one, Zay?
You should know the song, the artist. Nah.
I should know the song, but not the artist.
Yeah,
Okay.
the song's classic.
What's the title?
I got 5 on it.
I got 5 on it.
So basically, like, I got $5 on how much we're all putting on the amount of weed we're getting.
Fair enough. He's willing to help out.
Yeah.
Is what he's saying.
Yeah,
Okay.
hey, yo, 5 went a long way back when they dropped this. Maybe not so much now
Okay.
with inflation, but back then, 5 went a long way.
Okay, so who is it? I don't recognize it. You're right.
Loonies.
Loonies?
Loonies.
Okay.
I got 5 on it.
Loonies. This is a group from back in the day.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. From where?
Ooh, where are they
No.
from?
Okay, there it is. That's good. That's a nice little groove.
I got 5 on it.
Loonies,
Messing with that Indo weed. Oh, they can't say that?
Willie Nelson, and Rick James today on this 420. We hit you with a little history of the 420. Just blame those high school kids out in California for why it is 420. And I learned this one today. I've always known it was never Bob Marley's birthday, but he does have a kid that was born on 420. Like, if y'all don't think that's magic,
He got a lot of kids.
that's awesome. He did have a few kids back
He
in
got
the
a lot
day.
of kids, yeah.
But, yeah, the kid with the birthday today is Stephen Marley. Stephen has won multiple Grammys. He and his brother, everybody may know the name Ziggy Marley,
Yep.
they performed with their dad before he died. And there was like a kids group that got started, and Ziggy and the Melody Makers got started even before Bob died. And then they just, they kept going afterwards, and he's won Grammys and everything. So shout out to Stephen Marley today, 51 years old on 420. So Bob doesn't have this birthday, but one of his sons does. All right, so a lot of 420 talk today. Obviously, we are looking for your first or best pot experience on this 420, and we are learning today that a lot of you had that experience in middle school or high school. We're just saying. We didn't ask for all of you to shout out your high school classes like you've been doing today, but we've gotten a few of those. We've gotten a few of those today.
Yeah, I just threw Del Valle under the
They
bus
really
earlier.
did. Apparently, Del Valle in 03 was the place to be if you knew where to go behind a portable building. All right, so all that is going on today. Let's get you the Flex 30 segment. We will shout out some local talent hoping to get drafted.
Flex ATX for the best high school sports coverage. Listen to the horn and go to FLXATX.com. Flex 30 is brought to you by Brain Vault. Brain Vault is a revolutionary and patented mouthguard that has been proven to help reduce the risk of concussion. Visit brainvault.com and join the movement.
So we always tell you to check out social media, specifically the Twitter account at FLXATX on your socials and on Twitter. And they've been retweeting a lot of cool stuff. We keep you up to date on different offers that are going on, trips and visits that these guys are taking. And in this case, it is a case of a guy coming back and talking to his former school. And he's obviously got a lot going on right now. And that would be Deuce Vaughn, Cedar Ridge product. Comes back and talks to the Cedar Ridge kids, Zay, and Cedar Ridge football tweeted it out, and they put a quote in there from the speech, and it was, quote, "The way you do one thing is the way you do everything." Hopefully Deuce Vaughn will find his way onto an NFL team. He's going to get an opportunity.
Yes.
Even if it's the UFA route, little undrafted free agent situation, he will find an opportunity. But let's hope maybe day 2 or day 3, somebody takes a chance on Deuce Vaughn, because if you have a certain situation for him, he's going to work hard, and I think I think he can absolutely make an NFL roster.
Oh, 100%. He's going to surprise a lot of people with his toughness and just his mind on and off the field. You could use him on special teams, kick return, punt return. I think that's kind of how he's going to have to find his niche, and obviously situational, third down situations and just on the specific team. But yeah, I think Deuce Vaughn has a great NFL career ahead of him, and I'm excited to see where he gets picked next week.
Yeah, and then also in terms of local guys hoping to get drafted, obviously we got a couple guys that are running backs at the local college that we deal with that they are hoping to get drafted. And if you weren't able to catch it today on B&E, go back to hornfm.com. Check out their interview this morning with Roschon Johnson.
Yeah,
He's in town for this free camp. Remember, the free camp of the Bam Fam organization, bamfam.org. Go check it out. Free camp. Roschon and Fozzie Whitaker are a part of that. So if you've got a youngster that you want to get him a little instruction, you want to get him a little thought process, whatever it is, and maybe they haven't gotten noticed, and you feel like a camp like this could help them out. Again, it's a free camp, 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. out at the new Del Valley complex, not behind the portable buildings years ago, the story we're hearing today on 420, not those. But check out that free camp, and then check out hornfm.com. B&E interviewed both Roschon and Fozzie this week, so you can go check those out. One other thing I wanted to mention here, Zay, it is on the serious side, but let's send some positive thoughts out to this young lady. If people heard about the shooting out in Elgin, did you hear about this? Out at the HEB?
Yeah.
Let's send good thoughts out to Peyton Washington. She is a cheerleader for, I think there's a larger organization she may cheer for, but I believe she's also a Stony Point cheerleader, and that is the name I know that got released because she's the one that they helicoptered out of there with the most serious injuries. Somebody had to be treated at the scene and ultimately didn't have to be sent to the hospital, but according to her dad, in the last day or so, they are treating her over at Del Seaton Medical Center.
Yeah, they were going to the wrong car and the person shot him, right?
Yeah, just a mistake. Yeah, right.
Way too many stories about that lately.
Yeah.
Also.
Yeah, way too many stories of ready, shoot, aim.
Yeah.
Of just calm down.
Like people knocking on the wrong door, like, oh, sorry, then just ridiculous.
Yeah, the way that I was taught, I was raised, I was raised for good portions of the year as I was growing up by responsible gun owners, and that is certainly not the way they would tell me to. You can't go about it that way. Not saying you can't own the gun, certainly. Not saying you may not need to use the gun at some point, but
not saying you need to protect yourself.
But my goodness,
read the room.
Yeah, that's an awful story there. Just trying to come back from a cheerleading event. I mean, that's my HEB.
Yeah, when you said Elgin, that's home for you.
It's right there. That's my HEB. And so I know exactly where it happened. Just a terrible story. So we hope she's going to be okay. Apparently she's already gone through a surgery where they removed her spleen, I think it is, to try to save her. So hopefully everything will be all right there. But just a terrible story there. So since it is that flex segment and we do keep up with a lot of different sports and obviously we're telling the stories of a lot of different kids around the area trying to do well, apparently Peyton Washington is a big deal in the cheerleading world, and hopefully she'll be all right. Flex segment every day at 1:30, and we hope everybody is safe and sound out there on this 420, and we have asked you for your 420 stories today. Your first or your best experience with pot. All I've got is contact highs. That is all I have. I can tell you which concert gave me the bigger contact high, but I'm not a pot guy. So I would love to be a pot guy. I would love one day to experience a good legal pot situation, dispensary in Colorado or something like that.
Yeah, nice and safe.
Like somebody I know that is into pot that could direct me through there.
You could talk to the pharmacist.
Absolutely.
They can let you know what's good, what not to take. You need some Reggie.
But I have never. I need some what?
Need some Reggie.
What's a Reggie? What's that? What do you mean?
Probably the lowest grade of weed you could probably find. That and corn.
Starter weed.
Starter.
That's what I need?
In a way, it's disrespectful, but yeah.
Okay.
That starts you off on.
No, that's okay. Dude, I'm 48 years old. I've never smoked. That might be where I need to start. Is that like training wheels for pot?
It's like just the worst, dirtiest kind you could get.
Well, wait a minute. I don't want worse dirty.
But it's not dirty. It's just compared to other buds, like, some kush or some haze. It doesn't compare to that.
See, that's
what somebody says. Do not smoke it.
There you go. Okay, that's good. I got to know.
See, yeah, put you on some Reggie or corn. Y'all know exactly what I'm talking about.
Because my thing is, I've always been that kind. I've always got the voice of my grandparents and parents in my head. I'm not doing anything illegal. That was never my thing. I didn't drink illegally. I'm not smoking illegally. What I want is a fully out in the open legal experience. I want to walk into the dispensary with a friend that I know knows what's up, and then we talk to that person And I do what I always do, which is say way too many words, but I'll tell them, like, hey, here's what I want. Here's what I'm looking for. What do you recommend? What do you think? Should I smoke? Should I eat? Should I drink? They put it in tea now, right? You can put it in tea. You can sip it.
Yeah,
you
like the oils and stuff.
You can do all kinds. I don't want that.
You don't want that Brittany Griner?
I don't want rub it on my skin. I don't want that.
What?
I want to ingest it somehow.
Yeah, you could like put the oils and teas and different things.
And I'll be honest with you.
Coffee?
I would prefer to smoke something. I will tell them that.
All right.
I was never a cigarette smoker, but I would prefer for my first pot experience to be smoking something in that dispensary. That's what I want. That's what I'm looking for. So maybe I can hook up with some like Denver Broncos fans, and we'll go to a game next year and have that first deal. They do that now in Denver. I love that. It's fantastic. I'm sure Rockies fans are a lot calmer the last few years.
Yeah.
They don't even care what the games are about anymore.
Oh, Nuggets fans, they looked right at home yesterday.
Yeah.
Comfortable in that dub.
Their team by the end looked pretty comfortable,
They
too.
definitely did.
Minnesota put that little run on them, and they just kind of sloughed them off at the end.
Yeah, our guy Nate, longtime listener, he asked, hey, what was it like when CeCe caught you? Wasn't good. Let me just tell you that. When CeCe caught you, boy, it was not good. Because you got to understand, black folks during that era, weeds like crack.
Oh, yeah. He thought you were headed down the road.
Oh, yeah. Real dark path.
How quickly did he say gateway drug?
I don't know if he said that, but Moms was crying, oh, my baby, he's an addict. He's an addict. He's going off the deep end. I just wanted to be like, yo, I'm cool. It's just, my bad. I get it. I get why y'all are so afraid. The brother get caught with it. We seen the statistics. I get it. But still, it ain't crack.
Okay. Celestial, look. It's not just that we caught him smoking it. I went into his room. He has it would have been a tape or CD. He has an album called The Chronic. We've lost him. We've lost him.
Yo, that album came out way before I started listening to music like that, so don't blame me.
You didn't have The Chronic laying around then?
No, 92, that's when that came out.
Yeah, that's true. That's a good point. Yeah, you would have had a whole lot. You might have been listening to a whole lot of stuff that The Chronic influenced.
Yes.
You listened to the second and third level after that. All right, so hope you're having a good 420. Where are we at in society? Zay will hit us with that next, and then we'll get into the album swap discussion. Lil Wayne and Living Color as a part of the album swap discussion. Did Zay help to create a new Lil Wayne fan? Did I help to create a new Living Color fan? We'll find out at 2:05. Stay with us. Big Texas basketball news. And, of course, we're getting ready for the draft. Only 7 days away. Keep it right here on The Horn.
Yes, sir. Let me dig Yes, sir.
Chad and Zay.
All right, we hope you're having a good Thursday. It is not just any Thursday. It's 420. It's so special. Zay's going into a theme, which he doesn't always do. We've had Rick James. We've had Willie Nelson. We've had Loonies. And I believe we've got Outkast here.
There we go.
There it is. Even if Andre had not said his own name there, I think I would have gotten that one. I think I'm good enough. Now, Big Boy by himself, I don't think I can identify that yet.
Really?
I'm not quite that good, but if Andre's on the track, I usually know that it's Outkast. And
Yeah.
also, you get a feel from Outkast usually.
Yeah.
It feels like something. But when Big Boy's by himself, I don't always pick that out. So I'll admit that. But this is good. What's the song called?
Crumbling Herb.
Crumbling Herb. Now, is this on Southern Playlistic?
It is.
Okay, because that's the album I've listened to all the way through.
Okay. The first album.
Crumbling Herb. Yeah.
Oh, it's
yeah.
a jam, man. It's a great album.
This is their first record? The debut?
The first album?
Yeah.
Yeah, Southern Playlistic.
That's great.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's a great album. That one,
1994.
I need to get into some more Outkast because I did love that album. And I've heard other tracks here and there, but they are definitely something. So you're saying Andre 3000 might have smoked pot before?
Oh, might. You see how out there he is?
His name tells you kind of, doesn't it?
Yeah.
You're not going to call yourself Andre 3000 if you just sip on some tea.
Yeah, think about the smoke sessions him and Erykah Badu used to go through.
Oh, my God. I can't imagine.
Oh, what a time.
Can't imagine. Outkast to go with Loonies and Willie and Rick James today. Lots of stuff out there. We're getting ready for the draft, of course. 7 days away from the NFL draft. Bijan getting that big article right there front and center on ESPN.com. Is somebody going to take a shot at Bijan in the first round? The more you hear, the more you think about it. It just feels like that if the teams like the Cowboys and the Bills at 26 and 27, if they want Bijan Robinson, they may have to go up to get him. I've heard a theory that maybe the Eagles don't take him at 10, but they use their 30th pick and then go up from there and try to figure out a spot, maybe at 21 or 18, get ahead of the Lions.
Yeah, that's risky.
And try to do it there. But I just wonder if was it Howie Roseman? Is that his name? If I'm sitting there, I'm an NFC champ. I just committed all that to my quarterback, and I'm standing there at 10. What do you really need? Do you absolutely need something more than a running back like that?
Well, the way you pay Jalen Hurts, he's clearly in these conversations. If he's not, then that would be ridiculous. Like, I'm not going to give my quarterback all this money and not get his opinion on who we should take offensively in the draft. And I feel like Jalen Hurts, with Miles Sanders gone, he's probably like, yo, I've seen this guy up close. Like, he's for real. I think you should draft him. Like, we need a type of guy like this. It will take our offense to a whole nother level where even though we have a good defense, might have lost Hargrave to San Francisco, guy like this, we could outscore teams. And we don't have to worry about that defense.
Yeah. I'll give you a weird idea. If the Eagles let him go at 10, you know who picks 11?
Who?
Tennessee. It's a team fully committed to a run idea, and that running back he's still a badass, but he's like 28, 29.
Yeah, he's creeping on 30. It's coming.
I just wonder. Remember they brought in Deontay Foreman at one point to hang with him, but now Deontay's on another team.
Yeah.
I just wonder. We'll see what happens with Bijan. We were talking about that today. Album swap discussion coming up here at 2:05. We'll get into those NBA games of tonight, too. Great late night set with a 9 p.m. tip with Sacramento and Golden State and a 9:30 tip for Phoenix and the Clippers. Get that clicker ready or get multiple screens ready tonight. Right now, let's go where are we at in society, see what Zay's got for us.
Where are we at in society today?
All right, Zay. What do you got? We talked Dylan Brooks earlier, so it's probably not that sound. It's probably not him saying LeBron's old.
Yeah, Buccaneers fan.
Uh-oh.
Don't you want to know what happened with Antonio Brown and his tenure with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers?
Good Lord.
Well, he went on a really good podcast, actually, Gilly the King, which we'll talk about in the Lil Wayne we go over the album review because Gilly plays a part of Lil Wayne's career.
Okay.
And Wallow. They got a really good podcast with Barstool Sports. And Yeah, Antonio Brown went on it, and he talked about his time in Tampa Bay, leaving the field, and Tom Brady and why it went south. Take a listen.
Oh, good Lord.
Know you want to know what the hell went on, right?
Come on, tell me what went on. The whole world want to know what went on.
So now when we get the ring in 2021, the next year I'm the last guy that signed. My agent, Ed Woloski, is getting called, cursed out by Tom Brady over why is he pushing back for the contract for scrap. So imagine if you heard that. The same guy that brought you in to run the ring, the same agent he told you to hook up with to get the deal, is not telling me the guy's calling him saying like, yo, cursing him out about scraps of a contract. That you know what I'm saying?
Tom was like, why you ain't get him to sign?
Why you not taking this deal?
Wait, but Tom wasn't with you because Tom called you up.
You gave Tom his props.
No, I get everyone their props from a team standpoint as far as the team. But, you know, we all got our own agendas in the midst of the team. So when you're an older player and you getting deals like that and you feel like, my agent's telling me already before the season that this guy who he hooked me up with is calling him, cussing him out about like, you know, the contract.
Well, Tom plugged you in with it, so he had a relationship with him. So he like, man, get that
Over
sign
here.
that.
Yeah.
When you was walked off the field, what was in your mind?
Listen to me, you know, leading up to the game, I was something to coach, yo, I'm hurt. They let us rest to the playoffs.
Now, see, that's what I heard. I heard that you was hurt, you was injured, you told the coach you didn't want to play. They threw you out there anyway. I just assumed that was a rumor. So you was actually hurt.
Yeah, I had a torn ligament in my deltoid. And they knew that. That what y'all on, I'm good, I'm out of here.
All right. So he's saying the second year, Tom Brady wanted him to take a pay cut?
Yes.
Is that what he's saying?
Yep.
So who was cussing out who? I couldn't understand.
Tom Brady cussed out Antonio Brown's agent that Tom Brady originally connected AB and the agent together. So he called him, cussing him out like, yo, why is he bitching over the contract? He needs to take what he's getting, and it might not be enough in his eyes, but we're trying to win again, and we need him to take it. And he probably said some words that are very disrespectful while saying that.
Yeah, it's weird because, you know, Tom multiple times in his career took less money so that other guys could end up with money. But to then counsel the other guys to take less money, and I definitely wouldn't assume Antonio Brown would be cool with that.
Hell no.
Like, if you even kind of know Antonio Brown, why in the world would you assume that Antonio Brown, in the mindset he was in at that point, a Super Bowl champion now, you think he's going to take less money the next year?
Yeah, that's the thing. Especially after winning the Super Bowl, he's expecting more money due to the fact that he helped. And he was the third wide receiver on that squad with Godwin and Evans.
Right.
So him being the number 3, Tom Brady's like, you deserve 3 money. And AB's like, I ain't no number 3, even though I'm playing that here. I know y'all are giving me a second chance, but my talent is Hall of Fame talent.
Exactly.
And that was the issue there. So
yeah.
I'm not surprised.
And then I'm trying to remember it now, the way it worked out. So that next year would have been, did Tom play another year and then it was the retirement and comeback? I can't remember how it worked. Did he play 2? He played 2 more years?
Yes.
Okay. So
he got there, won it all, first year.
And then the next year was the Antonio Brown thing. That was the thing
when he went crazy, when AB started losing his mind.
So that's still with Bruce Arians as the coach.
Yes.
I got you. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, that's obviously, you know, if he's right, you don't want to be, you know, you don't want to be putting a guy out there that's injured. That's not good. Now, his reaction to it was childish.
No, yeah, come on.
Taking all the stuff off and walking off the field. It was completely childish. And it fit right in with where he is. So I don't know how much, you kind of choose how much of it you want to believe, how much of it you want to take at face value when it's coming out of Antonio Brown's mouth nowadays. So I don't know. I'm not sure how to take that one.
Yeah, he's a flat out liar all the time. I don't buy it, a lot of it.
Like, I don't know how to take that one. But
now, Tom Brady, I've seen him cuss out a lot of people on the sideline. So
oh yeah.
He knows a sailor word or two.
Oh, yes, he does. Yes. The yelling and the screaming was always one of my favorite parts of Tom. Before he became a Buck, when he was a Patriot, because I thought it was consistent.
Yeah.
He would yell at you if he thought he needed to be yelled at. He'd get at that. I thought that was the best. That was one of the best parts of his leadership. He'd get after you. That's what I think the best quarterbacks do, is get on you when they think you need it. All right, so there's where we at in society. Antonio Brown with some of his thoughts. Up next, the album swap discussion. Lil Wayne and the 04 The Carter album, the one that started the Carter run, and then Living Colour's 1988 Vivid, the debut album. We've already had somebody text in about a time they saw Living Color back in the day. Zay and I'll tell you what we thought of these albums coming up. We'll talk also about tonight's NBA action. The 2 late games are great. The early game probably won't be that good because Philly looks like they're much better than Brooklyn, but we'll talk about it all. Keep it right here on The Horn. This is Chad. Let's talk a little sinus and snoring specialist. Hope you're breathing well, sleeping well, feeling good right now. If you're not, if you've got sinus issues, allergy issues, sleeping issues, they can help you with sinus and snoring specialists. I know because they helped me in 2017, because they've helped a lot of people around the office as well, from Jeff Howe on Light the Tower to our own Isaiah Collier, helping him with some sinus issues that he's had. And it's all different. Zay's situation's different than Jeff's and different than mine because everybody else is different. So you got different allergies. They can test you for 50 different allergies all at once, figure out what you're ultimately allergic to, and they can get rid of those allergies for good. Obviously, each individual person's snoring situation is going to be different. They want to find out why you're snoring, what are the causes there, and what can they do to help you. Remember, Dr. Slaughter, double board certified in ear, nose, and throat. So he's got surgical and non-surgical options that others just don't have. Get on in there, get that first exam done. He prides himself on meeting you in the first consultation, and he'll also keep those appointment times for you because he knows your time is valuable. Call and set up the appointment 512-601-0303 or go to sinussnoringent.com. It's Sinus and Snoring Specialist. Feel clear, rested, and healthy.
Chad and Zay.
All right, hour number 3 on this 420. We hope you're having a good Thursday. It's Chad and Zay. Oh, Zay's really hitting the theme today. I'm Chad Hastings. He is Isaiah Collier. And today, he's going with 420 stuff. So, the thing here is, this is the beat that ends up being the song Because I Got High, right?
Correct.
Okay. Now I just got to remember who that is. Oh, I've heard the name. This is like a one-hit wonder-ish kind of act, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Oh my God! Isn't it like is it something with the word man in it?
Yeah.
Is it Afro Man?
Afro Man.
There we go. I knew I could get there.
Well done.
Afro Man. Okay, tell me about the reception in the hip hop world when Because I Got High came out.
I don't even remember when it came out.
Really?
It's always that song. Yeah. It's a funny song.
You don't
catchy.
remember, like you don't remember before. You just remember it was all of a sudden
I
it was just
remember
there.
It was there, yeah. I don't remember what year or nothing.
Oh my God! It is a truly great novelty kind of song. I mean, that's kind of how I would categorize it. Nobody considers this like serious hip hop or anything,
not at
right? I
all.
mean, yeah,
The beat's super basic.
right.
Yeah.
And the rhyming is really basic, and all
I was
that
gonna clean my room, then I got high. I was gonna get the broom, then I got high.
Oh, it's fantastic. It's like a multi-levels sort of below like a Biz Marquee kind of a vibe.
Yeah.
Right? I mean,
Right.
there's humor in it. It's designed to be that way, but it's like, yeah, down kind of below that. Afro Man with the beat. Now, and was he the full creator of all that? Do you know?
Creator all what?
Create the rap part, and he was the did he produce it as well?
I don't know
or-
any of that, no.
How do you not know who produced Because I Got High? I mean, come on. It's very important stuff. All right, we'll get into our musical discussion here on the album swap. Before we do that, I'll see if I can make Zay smile here. Remember earlier when Jeff Howe was on with us talking about Horns 24/7 and that Blake Brockermeyer had done some work for them?
Yes.
And was writing. So I just saw this tweet that came out, and it says, Texas football great Brockermeyer sees all-time stuff in true freshman linebacker Anthony Hill. The quote is, Anthony Hill has all the ability to be a great backer at Texas and maybe the next Micah Parsons.
Woo!
Holy moly.
Yo.
Okay, Blake.
I'll take all of that.
I bet you would. He looked really good in the spring game. Just the idea of him, hard to tell because the free runs he can't finish it.
Yeah.
You
And
know.
he blew up Savion Red. And we know Savion Red moving from wide receiver to running back, pass protection, he's really going to have to get used to that. So
Right.
when he blew him up to get that sack,
He's not blowing up like Bijan last year.
Yeah.
Right, it's different.
Yeah, really
Exactly.
different.
Exactly. So, but he's definitely a guy that I think if you're a Texas fan, you're excited about a comment like that. We'll see if Anthony Hill can indeed be that good. All right, a lot of NBA to get into as well. Tonight's schedule, Philly and Brooklyn is the 6:30 TNT game. Then 2 games in the late window, which is cool, kind of like a college vibe tonight. Sacramento Golden State, 9 o'clock TNT. Then Phoenix and the Clippers will tip at 9:30. So the next edition of Durant against Kawhi Leonard. I'm going to take as much of this series as we can get. That'll be tonight. We'll get into some of that discussion coming up in Why Today Matters. And yes, it's 420. People have been giving us their first or best pot experiences. We've had a lot of good stories rolling in. If you want to throw in, Specs text line 337-3776. But it is that time again. It is Thursday around 2 o'clock. We do the album swap discussion. We'll skip it next week since we'll have the draft. But this week, for some reason, a little Living Color popped in my head last week, and I decided to have Zay listen to Vivid. You want to start with Living Color?
Yeah, I'll start with Living Color.
Okay. Earlier, Jeff Howe mentioned I didn't realize Living Color had something other than Cult of Personality. How dare you, Jeff Howe, and how dare all of you. It was May of 88 when this album came out. It has been certified double platinum by now. What'd you think of Living Color?
It was I. Yeah, it was I.
Just I?
Yeah, Cult of Personality, this song right here. I've always known of it. It's a classic song. Didn't even know Brother sung it. Really didn't. Sorry,
Okay.
Living Color. I had no idea the history of the band. I think that was more fascinating than actually jamming the album, because if we're just talking about the album, not for me.
Okay.
For all the listens that we had, Def Leppard, AC/DC, not even close. And
So-
I know a lot of people probably agree with that.
Those are more your thing than Living Color.
Yeah,
Okay.
but this was it. I liked I Want to Know, Middleman. Again, the story's just amazing. The fact that Mick Jagger put them on
Mhm.
and was the one to say, you guys deserve a shot. And being in the late 80s, being a black rock group, they just didn't get that respect, which is sad, but I could see it. So having somebody like Mick Jagger put them on and give them kind of just the guidance that they need to be a group that other people respected, I love that story.
Yeah. Also, Mick's the one playing harmonica on Broken Hearts.
What?
Yeah. Andy's in the Glamour Boys group that's screaming Glamour Boys during the chorus. I always like that too.
Okay.
They are, and I, my first time I ever saw them live, I told you they opened for the Stones on the Steel Wheels tour at the Cotton Bowl. First time I ever saw Living Color live.
What year was that?
So it would have been this album comes out in 88. Stones put out Steel Wheels in 89. So we go see that tour in 89. Living Color open with Middleman. I'm getting chills thinking about it. God, it was great. I love that riff. The album was awesome. And got to see them a couple years later on a regular tour. But, man, they were fine, man. They filled that stage really well. Stones crowd accepted them. And, yeah, I always love this band. Another reason why I've always thought they didn't get as much love, we also have to remember how serious they were. They're kind of like, in a way, they were like a rock Public Enemy to me.
Right.
They weren't just singing about anything. It wasn't just about let's all be happy or whatever. Open Letter to a Landlord and stuff like that. It was very serious content.
Open Letter to a Landlord, so interesting. Like gentrification talk and stuff.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
crazy.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Just like in the world of hip hop and rap, you may run into somebody that says, "Man, I'm not going to sit around and listen to Public Enemy all day because it's all topical stuff, and they're trying to really get serious." Living Color probably had a little bit of that for some people.
Yeah, they got big on the Arsenio Hall show, which
I
always
saw that
forget how
performance.
big that Arsenio Hall show was.
I remember
just
that.
For black artists, putting them on. And yeah, it's a great story. I dig it. I really do. And they're still performing. I know they've lost a couple guys, but they're still going.
Yeah, they are. There's 2 albums that I've not listened to on the back end of things from Living Color, but some definitely cool stuff. Yeah, they're just one of those, man. Cult of Personality was such a big track. A lot of people do not go much past that, which I guess I could understand. But first 3 albums, I love. Time's Up's a great record. Stain is an awesome album to me. So I'll admit, I'm a mark for Living Color. Real tight band. Vernon Reid to me he's in the line with Jimi Hendrix.
See,
because he is an alien guitar player that is so talented.
and it's kind of like how they get hosed as a group. People don't give him the credit of one of the greatest guitarists of all time.
Vernon's a monster.
And I don't know, is it because of his color? I don't know.
I don't know.
That sucks, though.
There's also a lot of complexity, again, to the music, the seriousness of the music. But if you dig Vernon Reid's guitar playing, those first 3 albums have some crazy cool stuff on it.
So let me ask you this before we get to Wayne. I was doing my research and I saw that they had a little beef with Axl Rose, Guns N' Roses.
I do not recall the beef with Axl, but a ton of people had a beef with Axl. That doesn't surprise me.
Yeah, because I guess 1 in a Million, the song, uses some racist / homophobic words in it.
Yeah.
And those guys in Living Color didn't dig that. They were
Interesting.
also on the road with Guns N' Roses
okay.
and Rolling Stones.
I didn't realize they had a problem with 1 in a Million. They wouldn't have been the only one. That song got a lot of blowback back in the day, but no, I didn't realize that. I do want to check out their 5th and 6th records because I think it's their last album they put out. They've got a Biggie cover on there. They cover, is the song called Who Shot Ya?
Yeah.
They cover that.
Who shot you?
Yeah. I also didn't know that Memories Can't Wait on Vivid is a Talking Heads cover. So Living Color is way out there in a way. I get why they weren't a monster band for a lot of people, but they are one of my absolute favorites. All right, so you're great on Vivid. I'm almost bracing for this one. What'd you grade it out?
7.
Ooh, 7 flat?
Yeah, 7 flat.
Barely passing?
Barely passing.
No, it's a shame.
It was
That's a shame.
good, but, not my thing.
Okay, so let's move on to Lil Wayne, the Carter. First off, I just want to give credit to that hook, the Ladies and Gentlemen, Pimps and Players. That whole thing is amazing in the song. half-ass rappers and true rhymes. This is the Carter. Hold on to your teenage daughter. Fantastic. Fantastic. I'd have never heard of Manny Fresh, but apparently this is the back end of Manny Fresh producing a lot of stuff for, I'm assuming it was a New Orleans company. Are they all in New Orleans?
Yeah, they're all
at the
from
time?
New Orleans, Cash Money. They got big in the mid-'90s, late '90s, and a lot of those guys started to leave, like Juvenile, who we've played a lot, BG and Turk, and Wayne. Those four, they were in a group called Hot Boys, while Manny Fresh, who made the beats for everybody, he was in a group called Big Timers with Birdman Baby, Brian Christopher Williams. So, yeah, that's New Orleans royalty. You know, Master P is also from New Orleans.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And Master P's people in No Limit, they didn't get along with Wayne's people and Cash Money, which is nuts because New Orleans is so small, but they're from different projects and different ghettos. So history shows if you have beef in like the 70s and the 80s and projects have beefs and you're born into that, you just got to roll with it.
You just have it?
There's no being cool with that project. So that's why when you ask Master P and Birdman, Baby, and Wayne, all them, like, why didn't y'all do anything together? They say the same thing, just our hoods didn't mess with each other. That's just what it was.
I do love the fact, I noticed little details like this. I like that the first track's called Walk In, the last track's called Walk Out. That's well done. Well done, Lil Wayne. Go DJ, followed by This Is the Carter. That's catchy stuff right there. Really well, just catchy, like, I'm trying to think of the best way to describe it. Like this style of rap to me, it's very much like wrestling promo rap in a way, right? It's like, I'm a badass, we're badasses, I'm going to tell you all about how cool we are kind of a thing. But Go DJ followed by This Is the Carter is great. And there's catchy stuff all through this record, Zay. I Miss My Dogs is a good song. We Don't is a good song. Cash Money Millionaires is catchy as hell.
Yeah.
I liked its consistency throughout. There's a couple of little skit tracks, but they don't really get in the way too much. Only Way is good. The song Hose is just pure poetry. Pure poetry. Snitch is a cool song. Earthquake is good. Do I say this artist's name? Is it Jazzy Faye?
Jazzy Faye, yeah.
PHA? Uh-huh. That was good. That little, the sampling of, who is that? Of Al Green.
Yeah.
Oh, that was brilliant. That was great. Yeah.
That's a jam.
Yeah, that was really good. The song about I'll take your dime, right? Stealing your woman. Yeah, that was really, really good. So for you, going back and listening to it, like, is this an album you remember loving back in the day?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Still love it.
Still holds up for you?
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
8th grade for me, because this was a time where Wayne was taking over hip-hop.
Okay.
He was completely taking over, and it wasn't just from the albums, it was from the mixtapes. I've mentioned it on the airways before. Wayne was taking other people's songs, just hit records from Justin Timberlake, Snoop Dogg, 50, etc., and he would rap over those beats, and it would be amazing, and he would put that out for free because he didn't want to get hit for copyright or anything.
And he would just come out with something completely new to rap on top of it.
Yeah, and he would do that the whole year, and it would promote his album while doing it. It's genius. And he kind of changed the game in that way. And yeah, a lot of people didn't agree with it because they said, you're putting out music for free? This makes no sense. He was like, no, it's going to come back.
So wait a minute. He would put it out, like this is in the digital era? Like he's putting it out where you could go listen to it.
Yeah, you could go in this is when you could buy CDs in stores. There were certain like mixtape stores.
Okay.
And you could go cop them there. But yeah, Dedication 1 and Dedication 2, Drought 3, all those. I should have actually listened to those, but that's a different time. And just the era, man. Wayne, he was only 21, 22. The chemistry that he had with Manny Fresh on this one. And yeah, Manny Fresh was his last album with Cash Money. And I love this album. I think Carter 2 is a little bit better, but we had to listen to the first Carter.
It is really, really, it was really, really tight. So what kind of grade would you give the Carter? Because you're a very tough grader. I'm gonna see how my grading is comparing to yours.
8.5. That's
exactly what I wrote down. I'm starting to learn.
8.5.
I'm starting to learn. That's exactly what I wrote down. 8.5 on Lil Wayne. All right, very good. And since I'm a mark for Living Color, I made Vivid 8.7. I did a little bit of. I had to go 8.7 on Living Color. And by the way, I can make an argument that both of these records are A records. For me, low A, kind of 90 to 92-ish kind of, because I think the more I would listen to the Carter, the more I'm going to like it, the more I'm going to want to come back to it. And I've always come back to Vivid. I smiled all day yesterday listening to Vivid because I love the record. It reminds me of when I first heard Living Color. Again, they were kind of my Public Enemy. They're the reason I ended up listening to NWA.
Wow.
Because I like music that sometimes makes me not think. Sometimes it makes me think about me, but I also like music that makes me think about other people. And they were letting me know what was going on. It's this band from New York. And again, I knew the Mick Jagger connection, but I'm like, Open Letter to a Landlord. It's a really interesting track. And I ended up going to college, and my favorite course was Rhetoric of Civil Rights, and I learned about some of the stuff they didn't teach me in high school. And then I ended up listening to NWA after that, going, oh, yeah, okay, this is the picture of what's going on there. So Living Color was a band that was speaking to me in my suburban situation and telling me, hey, everybody doesn't live like you. Everybody doesn't get what you get. And I want to know, which way do I go?
That's real talk right there.
To get to your America. The first time I heard that track, completely opened my mind. Love that band. So
see, I don't know if I had an issue because it's only 10 songs. And that's short. If you're going to make 10 songs, they got to all be great. Okay. And Wayne's was a little long. If you're going to make 20-something.
His was on the long end. You're right.
Yeah, but he had Walk In, Walk Out. They are the same beat. Then I think he had a middle version of the Walk In and Walk Out. So I count all that as one.
Yeah.
But I think if Living Color would have had a couple more songs, it might have put that grade up a little for me.
Yeah, and they had a couple. I think they did a reissue on the album later on. I've always been real comfortable. I'm a good 10 to 12 is where I want an album to be normally, and 15 is my limit.
Yeah,
you're going past 15, I need a double album. I don't need you going past 15. My kid's like bragging on these Taylor Swift albums and other stuff he's listening to. I say, how many tracks? 27. 27? What are you talking about? 27. I had to take a break in the middle of the Lil Wayne album, but I still really enjoyed it. That's what maybe impressed me more than anything, that it is 21 tracks, and I didn't feel like there was a lot of drag to this album. I didn't feel like there was a whole lot of a drag to it. Like the next to last track, Ain't That a Bee?
Oh, I love that song.
Still a good song.
Yeah.
Right? That's a song that on another album, that's like track 5 on somebody else's album.
Yeah.
You know, and he just sticks it all the way at 20. That's pretty impressive.
I think Wayne's a top 10 rapper of all time.
He's really good. He's like, I was trying to think of how to sort of classify him and categorize him. A lot of what he's doing, that somebody else might make it a little corny, but because he has so many crazy references in the songs, but he does it legitimately. It comes off as authentic to me.
I John Lynch you. Don't tempt me.
Oh, you know, I heard the John Lynch reference.
Yeah.
I also heard the Starburst and the Skittles in one line.
Right.
You know, just little things like that I thought were good. And there was a Donald Trump reference in there as well. Like, I mean, there's all kinds of different stuff.
Yeah,
so
Whizzle Fizzle, I keep it New Orleans, sleep with the women that sleep with the Hornets. Like, you what? Like, when I remember being a kid, be like, yo, this dude is sleeping with women that sleep with NBA players. You know, like this dude, he's out here. He's doing it.
Like, Wayne, to me, has always felt a little spacey, but an under control spacey. We were talking about Andre earlier. Andre kind of has that feel to him. Like, he's nuts, but he's got it under control. You know what I mean? Like, Lil Wayne, to me, it feels like after listening to this album, like, okay, this is what Flava Flav could be if he weren't crazy.
That's a great point.
If he weren't crazier. Because Flava Flav could not do that on an album. No way.
Not that wordplay.
We love Flava Flav. We love the things he provides. He can't give you all that. Lil Wayne, it's crazy, but then he delivers it, and you're like, okay, I'm in. I get it. And I can see how so many people would have gotten hooked onto some of these songs, man. Go DJ and This Is the Card. Those two. That's track 2 and 3. Talk about a hello to an album. Walk In, Go DJ, This Is the Carter. At the end of that third track, if you don't want more, well, then you probably shouldn't listen to Lil Wayne anymore. You need to be done, because that explains him about as well. So credit to him and credit to Manny Fresh I did not know who Manny Fresh was, but
That's a shame.
I'm impressed.
Yeah, Jeff Howe.
Now I gotta
he's
go-
listening right now. He's definitely squinting at you.
Now Jeff Howe really doesn't let me go
he
to the
loves
barbecue.
some Manny Fresh.
I need to go check out. Apparently, Manny Fresh was doing stuff all the way back into the 90s up through 04. This is like his last album
Yeah, with Cash Money.
with Cash Money Records. Okay.
Yeah, Manny Fresh, him and Baby, the big timers. We played some of them a little bit. Hood Rich, their album. They got classics.
Yeah, now and
New Orleans rap is so underrated.
Baby was on a couple of these tracks.
Right.
Right?
Now, that's the weird
Is he
thing.
famous?
Yeah.
Okay.
He's the one, he's like the co-founder of Cash Money Records.
Okay.
So him and Wayne were really tight, which Wayne called himself Birdman Jr. and kind of called him his dad. It's kind of weird, but
Yeah, who's
whatever, it
who's
worked.
Birdman?
Same person, Baby.
Baby and Birdman,
Baby
are the same person.
Mhm.
Man, a lot of names to remember. There's a lot going on. There's a lot going on. I mean, I was just trying to focus in on, okay, Mick Jagger is the lead singer, and then Keith Richards plays guitar. But Keith didn't have 5 names.
Right.
So it's just, there's a lot of other stuff to keep up with.
Yeah.
The hip hop world has all kinds of layers.
It's different.
I'm trying to keep up with it.
It's different.
I'm trying to learn. So there's our album swap discussion for this week. I was into Lil Wayne a little more than Zay was into Living Color, but it was fun to listen to both of those albums. Next week we'll have the draft going on Thursday, so we'll focus in on that. So we'll skip the album stuff for a week. Up next, though, we won't skip the NBA for tonight because those late games are great. We'll tell you about those games, plus a couple other reasons why 420 matters to us. Wait till you hear who's got 420 birthdays. Oh, there's a rapper with a 420 birthday. I want Zay to tell me if I need to listen to this guy. That's coming up on The Horn.
Chad and Zay.
All right, rolling through a Thursday. It is 420, so Zay's going with the 420 vibe throughout the day. Do I have a chance here, Zay?
No.
Yeah, I don't recognize that voice. Who you got?
Wiz Khalifa.
Ah, okay.
Huge pothead.
Is that right?
Oh, yeah. His best album's called Cushion Orange Juice. Legendary album.
That's fantastic. Wiz Khalifa, Outkast, Loonies, Willie Nelson, and Rick James have all been on the show. Songs that either make you think about pot or they're just flat out about pot or both. And we're asking you today for your first or your best pot stories. We've had people smoking with some famous folks. Doesn't have to be that. We had somebody that was just happy to smoke with his mom at a Stone show. We had that earlier.
Yo, smoking with moms, that's
Dude,
cool.
I definitely don't have that story.
Neither do I.
I will never have that story.
Neither will I.
I'm the guy who doesn't even have, I can't even have a story of drinking with my mother because she's so afraid of that. Like, she believes there's a demon in that bottle. She certainly believes there's a demon in the pot.
That devil's lettuce.
The devil's lettuce, absolutely. Hope you're having a good 420.
Bucky Gobble texted me and said, you need to get high on Jesus, like the buck.
Now, that's something I've never thought of. Do people that are into the pot and into Jesus ever combine the two? Anybody out there toking up heading to church?
I'm sure it works.
Because if the idea is to get you to the next level, I'm wondering. Somebody probably does and could tell me exactly the type of pot to smoke right as you're about to head to church. What's the God pot? Let me know.
You probably need some sativa.
What's the
You don't
praying
want to
pot?
be falling asleep.
What's the praying pot?
Yeah.
Right? And it lasts just long enough for you to get through the prayer and get the message, and then you want to get out there and eat. Because you're gonna have
food.
Because you'll have that, right? You'll get the munchies afterwards.
Yo, Lubies though. Come on now.
That'd be good.
That'd be serious.
That's another level. That's another thing I'll need to have if I ever do get to my first pot experience. If I could have a cafeteria style meal afterwards, like a Lubies, Grandy's, Underwood's barbecue, Ponchos. Can I have something afterwards?
Yo, I miss Grandy's so much.
Woo, the breakfast buffet.
Those eggs, greatest fast food eggs of all time. Grandy's eggs.
I'd be willing to go to that discussion. We used to hit the Grandy's breakfast buffet after we went to get concert tickets.
Yo, y'all were doing it.
Because we went to you had to go stand in line at the mall.
I miss the Grandy's off of Capitol Plaza, where the mattress, something's there, right by the McDonald's. Y'all know what I'm talking about. They used to be popping there. And then in South Austin, where High Park Grill is. Grandy's.
There was a Grandy's over there?
There was a Grandy's right there, Chad.
Dude.
It was going down on Saturday morning.
If there was a Grandy's over there, they must have been gone by the time I lived kind of in that area at one
they
point.
were gone. That's early 90s.
Oh, doggone it.
Yeah.
If there'd have been a Grandy's there. It's good stuff. All right, now I'm hungry. There it is. It's 420. It's appropriate. All right, so let's get into why today matters. We'll hit a couple 420 birthdays and talk about these NBA games tonight. Here we go. All right, we'll get to those birthdays, including a rapper I want to get Zay's opinion of. We've never talked about him, but he does have a birthday today. But first, Zay, 420 celebration tonight in the NBA will be a nice late-nighter. I don't know if you do. I don't know if it's pot, coffee, or both, but we're going to need to stay up. Philly and Brooklyn will be at 6:30. Can we agree Philly just keeps rolling here?
Yeah.
Okay.
James, you got to play better, though.
Yeah, I mean, that's probably true. For the next round, they need him to dial it up. But now you're going to get Sacramento and Golden State so no Draymond. My questions are, does Sabonis play tonight? And if so, that crowd's going to give him a ton.
Yeah, I expect him to play tonight, but sternum contusion, that don't sound good. And Draymond's not playing tonight, so if he were to miss a game, it would be this one.
So last night I think a lot of people fell in the trap of Freak's not going to play, Ja's not going to play. Well, those two teams aren't going to win. They both won. Tremendous effort from Memphis, and then Milwaukee just had the game. Yesterday, I said it had to be Middleton and Holiday. It was Lopez and Holiday that went crazy, and Middleton had a pretty good game too.
Yeah, they had like 30-something threes, it felt like. Joe Ingles, Pat Connaughton, Grayson Allen, they were lighting it up.
They shot 51% from three. And they took 49 of them.
They were lighting it up.
Dude, that was like the Rockets a few years ago. Remember those teams that were taking 40, 50 threes a night no matter what?
I do.
Good grief. So anyway, tonight now, are we falling for a trap if we just say, oh, Sacramento's going to win the game automatically?
No, you can't say that at all, because you still got one of the greatest guards of all time on the Warriors and Steph Curry, who could go for 50 any given night. Klay Thompson, he has to be good tonight. Jordan Poole has to be a lot better than he has been these first two games. He's making way too much money, and he's too big of a factor for their team to be playing this bad. And, you know, Andrew Wiggins coming back in the lineup, even though he had a good game in game two, it hurts your rotation because you get used to playing without him. He missed 25 games during the end of the season where you weren't playing good anyway, especially on the road. This is why you're a 6 seed to begin with. So now you're throwing him in the lineup. He's getting over 30-plus minutes. Everybody has to adjust again. And having to adjust in the playoffs is hard, really hard, especially to your rotation, to your minutes, to your role, because certain players are, you know, chemistry guys and guys that need to get going in the game due to them starting or coming off the bench. And if something changes just a smidge, it can mess up their whole game, and it could take them a while to get used to their new role. And I think the Golden State Warriors, with Jordan Poole and Gary Payton II, with Andrew Wiggins coming back, I think they're dealing with that a little bit. So it's going to be interesting if Sabonis plays tonight. Looney, he's going to have to be huge because there's no Draymond. Who are they going to throw on him? Are they going to play JaMychal Green a little bit more? They're going to have to. How are they going to put Andrew Wiggins on him a little bit more? How are they going to double team Sabonis if he gets the ball since you don't have Draymond there? All those are factors in tonight's game. It should be a good one, though.
Yeah, Golden State is forced to get traditionally big without him because that lineup of death they love so much, it's based on his versatility. The guys that have to play tonight aren't that versatile.
Right.
So Steve Kerr has to be more obvious kind of with what he's doing with the bigs. I'm interested to see how does he adjust, and then can Sacramento just keep this energy going that they've got, because they've answered everything the Warriors have given them so far with just talent, shots, and confidence.
Yeah, De'Aaron Fox is just like the Houston kids I used to grow up playing against. Tough as hell, smile on your face while giving you buckets, and he's finding his own. Like, he's finally finding his own. People thought he had a chance to be a superstar in that draft that he came out in. Everybody was talking about Lonzo Ball because he went number 2, and he was the main point guard in that draft, even though De'Aaron Fox dominated him in that Sweet 16 game, Kentucky versus UCLA, and De'Aaron Fox is showing you finally, because Sacramento Kings is the first time been in the playoffs 16 years. Nobody has seen De'Aaron Fox unless you're a league pass guy like me and Patrick Davis. And now you're finally get to see what he's really about, and he's showing the world that he's for real.
No doubt. That's a 9 o'clock tip, and then switch back and forth starting at 9:30 because it's Phoenix and the Clippers. What are you looking for from that series tonight other than a whole lot more Durant and Leonard? I want as much of that as we can get. Do you lean one way or the other tonight knowing that we are now in L.A.?
Yeah, I'm still leaning Suns. I think, the Suns still have too much firepower at the end of the day, and I think not having Paul George, it's going to catch up with the Clippers. It did in game 2.
Right.
Russell Westbrook, that really bad game that he had in game 1, he was great defensively, and then he had a really good game offensively in game 2. That's exactly what the Phoenix Suns want. They do not want Kawhi Leonard going to work, and then after that, they don't want the other guys, Batum, Powell, Eric Gordon. They don't want those guys going off and hitting threes and stuff. You want Russell Westbrook to take matters in his own hands and to go for his.
So if you were counseling Russell and Ty Lue and that team, you would tell them to lean towards game 1 for Russell.
Yeah.
Because that's more successful.
Yes.
Okay.
And you can't tell them that. He's going to look at you like you're insane.
Exactly.
He's going to be like, I only know how to play one way.
He's going to say, I got 28 and I was hitting him.
Oh, and he's been so petty lately because All he likes to talk about with the Clippers is, oh, they give me so much freedom here. When I make a mistake, I don't have to look at the bench and worry about being taken out the game. I don't have to worry about getting criticized by the media for this and that. Ty Lue and this organization just give me so much freedom. They allow me to be myself. Okay, well, the Suns are going to allow you to be yourself too, and that's why you're going to lose in the first round, because Russell Westbrook's being himself. Which he's a Hall of Famer, one of the greats, the triple doubles, 3 straight years, absolutely amazing. But I would love the ball in his hands, because when Russell Westbrook has the ball, he's thinking about getting the bucket. He's not thinking about playing good basketball. He's thinking about, I need to attack and go for mine. And he thinks that's for the greater good of the Clippers. It's not. It's getting the ball in Kawhi Leonard's hands, having him create for guys. You got to double team Kawhi Leonard, and hopefully those guys don't shoot. If those guys aren't making shots, those role players that I just named, then Suns, they're in a good place.
All right, a couple of birthdays to mention on this 420. You ever wondered who was born on 420? Steve Spurrier, born on 420.
Spurrier.
Sounds kind of weird, right?
All right.
78 today. Luther Vandross was born on 420.
Luther.
Would have been 72 today.
One shining moment legend.
That's right. The smoking hot Carmen Electra is 51 today. She was born on 420. I told you earlier, Stephen Marley, one of the sons of Bob Marley, was indeed born on 420, but not Bob. Don't ever let him tell you that's why it's 420. Bob was born in February. But here's a guy I wanted to ask you about, Zay. What about Killer Mike? He's 48 today, and I have heard things about him, but I have not heard a lot of his stuff. Is Killer Mike highly respected in the hip-hop world?
Yeah, really respected. Run the Jewels, legendary group. Him and I don't know the other guy's name in Run the Jewels. Sorry, Run the Jewels fans. But yeah, Killer Mike, really righteous guy, very intelligent with his hip-hop. He's not going to make those club banger or radio hits, but if you want to listen to just some very solid hip-hop that's going to make you think, Killer Mike's the way to go.
And is it labeled Killer Mike, or is it labeled with the other thing you just said?
What?
Like if I'm going to go listen to
Run
him.
the Jewels?
Yeah, is it called Killer Mike, or is it called Run the Jewels?
You can listen to either or. He has his
like the group
individual stuff, and then he has his Run the Jewels stuff. Run the Jewels is a lot more club, fun,
That's
fun listening to music.
That's a group he was in.
Still in.
And still in Run the Jewels.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, gotcha.
I don't know the other guy's name. I don't listen to much Killer Mike or Run the Jewels, but he is very respected.
Like, I don't know what it means, but I have not listened to a Killer Mike track, but I have seen him interviewed on Bill Maher's show. That's my concept of Killer Mike right now.
Really?
I've seen him on interview shows talking about, like, politics or, issues of the day.
Oh, yeah.
But because he seems like a really intelligent guy.
Very
intelligent dude, and I like to listen to him talk about stuff. I just haven't heard him rap yet. So there you go. Happy birthday, 48 today for Killer Mike. Some 420 birthdays for you. Coming up next, we'll get you stems and seeds before we get out of here, including an update in the NFL. Wait, hold on. Who's going to be coaching in the Cowboys division? That's next on The Horn.
Chad and Zay.
This is not a soberly created song. There's no way. No way. Should I know this?
No.
Yeah, I did not recognize it, but it's fantastic. What's it called, first of all?
Good Times.
Good Times. All right, who is it?
Styles P from The Locks.
Oh, that is so good. The high-pitched voices at the beginning. Yeah, there's just no way. No way everybody was sober on this one. Styles P, Wiz Khalifa, Outkast, Loonies, Willie, Rick James. Just might be some ideas for you if you're getting a 420 playlist together. Hope everybody has a great and safe and happy 420. Things changed a little bit on one of these NBA games tonight, plus a crazy story I saw out of the NFL. Let's get you a couple more stems and seeds. Here we go.
No stress, no seeds, no stems, no sticks.
Definitely fitting for 420. Thank you, Snoop. Brought to you by AV Consultations, 255-8678, or go to avconsultations.com. Let's hit the NBA one first. Zay, because you saw this during a break. No Kawhi Leonard tonight?
No Kawhi. He apparently has a sprain in his knee, not the same knee that he tore his ACL on a couple of years ago. And yeah, says he is out for game 3. His day-to-day for game 4 on Saturday. So everything I just said last segment,
that's done.
Erase
Take that away.
Yeah, just play hard, sons, and you should be good.
But here is the thing to watch tonight if you're going to tune into that game. Just how selfish is Russell Westbrook going to be now? He's going to try to beat Kevin Durant all by himself now.
Yeah, he's going to be pulling that thing.
He might take 60 attempts tonight, so watch out for that. Again, that's 9:30 NBA TV. 9 o'clock is Sacramento Golden State, and you know you don't have Draymond Green in that game. So interesting night in the NBA. The Philly-Brooklyn game is 6:30. How about this story, Zay, out of the NFL? Apparently the Eagles are getting a little closer to hiring Matt Patricia to be a defensive assistant. New senior defensive assistant Matt Patricia. After all this time of being either with the Patriots or obviously briefly as a head coach, he was back with the Patriots. He's going to go be a defensive guy with the Eagles?
Yeah, I don't know if he's a head coach, but he knows his defense pretty well, and that's an already good staff. Why not? I don't think it's a bad move for Sirianni and that crew.
And if I'm a Patriots fan, I am equal parts mad that he's not going to be there because I think he's a pretty good defensive mind, but also happy because of the stupidity they had around him last year. Trying to hide him, put him on the offensive side so that the Lions still were paying him money, all that mess we talked about. Hopefully they get to now move on past that stuff. So Cowboys fans, you may have to deal with Matt Patricia in your division as an analyst and coach on the defensive side for the Eagles. Wild stuff. All right, everybody have a safe 420 tonight. We got Rod and Harge coming up with Ball Don't Lie. 7 o'clock, it's Longhorn Blitz podcast, talking Texas football, recapping the spring game and all of that. 3 NBA games tonight. We'll be talking a lot about those tomorrow. So have a safe one, and we will talk to you tomorrow.